to let us have the lovely hub where we can work together and connect the communities together. Thank you.
Great. You'll hear from everybody. Yvonne Odukwe is also here. We've got Hadassah Radwe also bringing Black History Communities information. We've got Roy Grant from Age Alive. We've got Barbara Paulette Palmer representing the Windrush Elders today. Have I missed any other community group that, because I can't see everyone on the one screen? Our sister Valretta Radway is here from the Southwest Jamaican Society. Please, you're all warmly welcome. Let's push forward to this event, and I'm sure we'll get to know everybody. Right, welcome. We're live, we're on live stream. So welcome Newport, welcome Wales, welcome world. Today we launch a virtual One Newport, One Voice, One City. We're celebrating diversity, and that is the theme for the whole day. You'll hear it from me, you'll hear it from Reverend Hadassah, who is the chair and compere for the event. So Newport, One Voice, One City, celebrating diversity. How did this hub start? When SEWREC closed its doors, the grassroots communities, ethnic minority grassroots groups, were very, very concerned that there should be something, a forum, a platform. And I had this call just before I joined Welsh Government as the then CEO of Race Council to come and help start this conversation going. And that's how I've been involved. The grassroots have come together. They want their voices to be heard. They want to show that Newport is a diverse and dynamic place. You have all the activists here. It's not me at all. It's all these people on the screen. Yvonne Odukwe doing her fantastic autism work. Our brother Omar Ali, who's been championing since. Reggie Al-Hadi, all of you. Marilyn, all of you. Brian Amos, Kiran, Bina, Robert Musa, just powering through the work, and Shabia Hussein, all of you working hard with Heather. Of course, as we know, our mama Vanessa has been at the forefront of leading this change for so many years. Our brother Sean Wharton, our sister Marilyn von Hecker, you've been absolutely wonderful. The whole community, you know what Newport has been through in terms of wanting to get the voices of the diverse groups to be heard. And it's finally happening. We're delighted to, and we're thanking the leader of this council, Jane Mudd. Councillor Mudd has been absolutely brilliant. Can I ask you all to put your details on the chat to make sure that you're registered as attending? And Councillor Mudd will be here later, but we invited the Welsh Government Minister, who is a champion and a force of nature for diversity and equality, and has led for numerous years, and one of the only few original members of the devolution. For 20 years, the Deputy Minister and Chief Whip, Jane Hott, has championed personally and professionally equality and diversity and inclusion. It is a joy to warmly welcome her, and so she can officially launch the Newport Multicultural Hub. Thank you, Deputy Minister. You're welcome to speak.
Thank you very much indeed, Uzo and Borodar Power. Good morning to you all, and I'm so pleased to be. What a way to start a Monday morning. And can I just say, Newport is very important to me in my life, because many moons ago, as we say, I was a community worker in Pill, and I'm also very involved in helping set up Newport Women's Aid. But can I just also say, John, of course, John Griffiths, our Senedd member, also chair of the Equality Local Government and Communities Committee, chair of the cross-party group on race. He was there with me at the beginning 21 years ago. So John and I know each other well. And of course, Jane Bryant, such a wonderful addition to our Senedd. So Jane and John and I often meet and talk about Newport issues, Newport needs, but of course, crucially important now today, that together we're launching officially, all of us, I believe, not just me, we're launching the Newport Cultural Hub, and there's lots of speakers here, so I'll only say a few words, but it just is so important to meet you all, to hear of such a great diversity of such a great diversity of opinion, of contribution, of service, commitment in Newport. It's just great, isn't it? What a city, what a diverse and dynamic city because of you and your contributions. And it will be great that the leader of Newport Council, Jane Mudd, will be speaking as well. But I think also I know that you are lifelines. So many of you actually do provide a lifeline for so many people from Black, Asian and minority ethnic communities who face such challenges in this year, in 2020, because the pandemic and all the events we've had over the world shining a great light on racial inequalities, racism, that we know are experienced by Black, Asian, minority ethnic people here in Wales. And we need to do more as a government, Welsh government, and then across every sphere of life in terms of the local government, police, health. All of us who've got power and responsibility have got to do something. So we're working on an action plan, a race equality action plan that's going to be with us before the end of this Senedd term. It should be ready by March, and it's very much a First Minister's commitment as well as I'm just helping it move on, that we need this Wales Race Equality Action Plan. And I know that John and Jane, all of us are key to make this happen. But we can only do this if we actually work with you. We listen to you as to what's a priority, how we can ensure that the lived experience of Black, Asian and minority ethnic people and communities actually is reflected in that action plan. It's no good just us thinking we know what's best in Welsh government. We need to look at this from your perspective. It's got to be grounded in that experience, but it actually has got to produce fundamental change. And I think what we have done to try and get it right, because we've got to get it right, is to fund a whole new range of community and grassroots groups who've never got funding from us before. Small grants to lots of organisations all over Wales, including Race Council Cymru here in Newport, so that you can help get those views and help shape this action plan. It's an important opportunity, but it is a responsibility. And we do have to look very carefully and honestly at our structures and systems in society and consider how we can bring about that real change to the lives of Black, Asian, minority ethnic people here in Wales. So for so long you've been there, you've been speaking up, you've been working, you've been supporting. Now we want to make actually your contribution properly recognised and see how it changes our society. You are dedicated to building stronger, more cohesive communities. We celebrate our diversity here in Wales. We want to be a nation of sanctuary, and we want to develop mutual respect and kindness and overcome barriers in everyone's lives from birth through to death. Everyone's lives are affected, and we want to make this change and build towards a real Wales we can be proud of, where we feel diversity is seen and recognised as our strength and a wonderful light in difficult times. Diolch yn fawr.
Thank you, Deputy Minister. Absolutely wonderful. We needed that energy, that zing, and that commitment to equality, which has been the hallmark of all the work you've done. Right across protected characteristics, you've been a champion for all, especially those who are disadvantaged. Thank you, Deputy Minister. So immediately, I'm going to warmly welcome Mrs. Vanessa Cyril, OBE, and she is going to give you a warm Newport welcome as well, and then hand over to our compere and our chair, the absolutely phenomenal Pastor Hadassah Radwe, who's ready to rumble today, but not in the jungle. Thank you.
Hello, Vanessa Cyril. I'm going back years with Jane Hutt, before she even entered the Welsh Assembly then, lobbying to have ethnic minority working in the Welsh Assembly. And with John as well. I mean, Jane came after, but I know Jane for a long time. However, could I just say, it's not today, Deputy Minister Jane Hutt has been doing work, and she's been doing it from the heart. I was chair of a women's association in Cardiff, and I remember going to her with my brief for money. There was no money in the kitty when I saw her. I came out, well, feeling very disappointed and thought, well, where do I go again? But 2 weeks after that, for some reason, she found that money, £40,000 if I remember, because we were down on our knees. And she's been doing this work for a very, very long time. And as I say, it's from the heart, supporting people who haven't got a voice, who want a voice, and she's the voice there to support them. So can I say, welcome again, and going back all these years and still doing that work. I mean, I'm still there, but you know, we've been going back years, and she put into place somebody, the first person coming into Welsh Assembly working in equalities. Thank you very much, Jane. And it's so nice to see you again, so refreshing. We can't see each other because of all the shutdown, but it's so nice just seeing your face on this computer. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. And may I just take this opportunity to say a pleasant good morning to everybody again, Deputy Minister, and also Deputy Minister Jane Hutt, also Minister Councillor Jane Mudd, and Minister John Griffiths, Jane Bryant, and the most delightful Uzo, who has been a part of this journey with us here in Newport. We are here to celebrate Newport, one voice, one city, celebrating diversity. It has been a long journey, as we've been told, from SEWREC up until this time, but we are standing today on the shoulders of giants who have paved the way for us to be here. We're grateful to all the community members, grassroots communities that have come together, and Councillor Jane Hutt, who has opened the door to Newport City Council for us. All of our meetings have been held there, and she herself has been instrumental in getting things off the ground for us today. And our delectable Heather Powell, I'll talk more about her later on, but she who had been there as a champion for equalities. So it is my pleasure this morning to be the compare. It is, I can't fill Uzo's shoes, so I'm just going to do my best to introduce all of our groups who are here to tell us what they do, what they've been doing, and what they're planning to do for the future. This is Newport, one voice, one city, celebrating diversity. And so to start us off, I'm going to call on the great person of Reggie Al-Hadi, who is the voice of Newport Yemeni Community Association, and is going to speak to us now for 5 minutes. Over to you, Reggie.
Hi, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, beautiful people. Blessed to be on here today. I'm going to share a screen with you because I got a little presentation, so bear with me. Hopefully I know what I'm doing here. Okay. Oh. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so just introduce us, the NYCA, Newport Yemeni Community Association. We're roughly, in terms of a charity, we're roughly 12 months old. However, we have had community organizations that preceded this one. Newport Yemeni Community has been present in the docks of Newport and Butetown for over 100 years. So the Yemenis have been in Wales for over 100 years. Initially, our fathers and forefathers were citizens of the former British Empire. hence they could work on the ships and come to the UK with no paperwork, like the Windrush generation. It is our intentions, hopefully, to, once the pandemic's under control, to put together an online heritage project of the Yemeni community's journey. So other communities have a better understanding of who we are and where we come from. Some of the boarding houses we had on Repair Street were pretty much there from the early 1900s. Unfortunately, they're long gone. And we also had one of the oldest mosques in Wales at one time in Repair Street, Newport. So, you know, we have been here for a very long time, and we're a big part of the community, and we're blessed to be part of the community. I'm just gonna take you through what we do and our mission. These are our values and principles of NYCA: promoting social justice, equality, integration. We're community focused, bringing communities together, celebrating the heritage of the Yemeni community, promoting unity and community and cohesion. Luckily for me, I'm blessed with a group of people around me. I've got around 22 volunteers that work so hard and put a lot of effort in. We're a grassroots organization that just try and make a difference on the ground. You know, we do it all voluntary, and the reason why we do it, because it's you know, it's what we're born to do, is to make a difference around the people that don't have the voices, that don't have the skills to go and do it by themselves. So that's a little bit about our mission. Some of the services we provide: we give advice in any way we can, education, NYCA supplementary school plus GCSE, A-level and catch-up, to support our children that have missed out and try and close the gap, especially during the pandemic where they've missed a lot of education. We focus on health, women and girls sports activities, especially in terms of the cultural element because of certain cultural barriers. So we try and support from that point of view. Saturday night youth clubs to try and, you know, I hate to use the word divert because there's a lot of special people there that, you know, a lot of special children out there that have got plenty of ability to go places. They just need the chance and the guidance to open up their eyes and show them what's in front of them. And social activities. So these are the partners that we have worked with over the last year. You know, Gwent Police, Race Council Cymru, as you can see, Newport City Homes, Pobble. I mean, Pobble have been fantastic, in all fairness. A big shout out to Paul Macy, who's absolutely been a rock for me. You know, so supportive to NYCA. Newport City Council, even from a business point of view, the Two Sister food group, Subway, who's been who allowed us to use their premises when we were doing the food packages. We work with amateur football clubs to try and you know, introduce our kids to grassroots football. So many people that we work with, as you can see there. Some of the achievements so far. So we, as well as doing work here, we wanted to, you know, create awareness of the crisis that's happening in Yemen. So we partnered off with a Rotary Club, and we did a 24 kilometers walk with 6 different community groups from all around Wales, from all different backgrounds. And we walked simultaneously for 24K to raise awareness for the crisis in Yemen. And we managed to raise over £4,000 to support the Yemeni community in Yemen.
Reggie, you have 1 minute left.
Okay, yep. Also, as you can see here, there was a woman who lost her husband in the war. As you can see on the left here, she, you know, that's how they lived. So we decided to come together as a community, and we rebuilt their house so they have a roof over their heads, a decent roof over their heads. The people in Sana'a that got made homeless because of the war. So we looked at them and the kindness of the people in Newport. We raised money to try and, you know, buy blankets to keep them warm, especially during the winter where it's almost 3 degrees. This is the allotment, the pill allotment that we work on. Newport City Council Central Hub, Pobble, NCH, and what Keep Wales Tidy and other partners are involved in. This is a fantastic project, and please visit if you get a chance. And we took our kids to the BAME National Youth Forum, which was organized by Ali Abdi, bless him. And, you know, that was a fantastic day for our youth. Some of the food packages that we delivered over 600 food packages to provide essential, you know, and provided essential furniture to the vulnerable. I want to thank Edward Watts from Garvo, who supported us for this, and also Heather Powell from Newport City Council, who
Thank you so much, Reggie. I don't need to cut you off, but we need to be able to stick with the time. So I suppose we could share this with other people later on, and maybe when you do your wrap up, you'll be able to bring so much. Thank you so much, Reggie. That's the Newport Yemeni Community Association. And I know that there's so much more to be said, and you're doing fantastic work, not just here in Newport, but also in Yemen. So we are grateful for all you do and your leadership for this group. So we can cheer Reggie. I'm now going to move on to New Dimensions Faith Fellowship, and we have Marie L. von Hecker will be speaking on behalf of that association. You have 5 minutes, please. Could you please unmute yourself, Marie?
Right, hello everyone, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Right, good morning everybody. Just to introduce myself very briefly, my name is Marie, and I'm here just to tell you a little bit about New Dimensions Faith Fellowship. Why New Dimensions Faith Fellowship? Well, they aim to reach a wider audience. There are people who would love to enjoy a warm and embracing family atmosphere, where they're able to forget about the pressures of life for a few moments and experience the charismatic atmosphere presented by New Dimensions Faith Fellowship. So New Dimensions Faith Fellowship, they were established at least 2 years ago. And at first an introduction of awareness of God's love for all. So it's a very small church, but thriving really well. And we also promote the principles of an inclusive society. As you know, sometimes life presents unexpected circumstances which can at times let us down, and then the feeling of defeat sets in. However, there are always hope, and New Dimensions strive towards promoting that hope, which is salvation, that we can all embrace. So New Dimensions are built up of a well-educated and talented group of people who strive to further establish the church. There's always spiritual and professional guidance for adults, children, and young people who are eager to further enhance their level of well-being and spiritual stability, which is what we all support as a whole. Because the church is so well loved by its charismatic approach towards praise and worship, it is this atmosphere which attracts many people, knowing that they will gain a feeling of happiness, and this is the society we wish to promote. Now, Elder Junior Earl and his wife, Minister Maureen Earl, they actually run the church. And with them, you find an ever-inviting, warm embrace, both encouraging people to simply be themselves and enjoy the pulsating praise, worship, and astounding music, which richly embellish their establishment. So NDFF have been running for 2 years, as very, very young, and to have a congregation of at least 40 people, and that's including children. They are thriving extremely well, having performed 2 weddings already. Also, during the pandemic, they have carried out 11 baptisms, and that's a celebration in itself. Because of the ethos of New Dimensions Faith Fellowships to promote inclusivity, their gates and courts are always open, where you will receive a warm and welcome and enjoy hospitality. And before I end, as a kind of contribution, I would suggest, or I would kindly ask, if it is possible that Dr. Katie Greenland, she's a reader of social sciences at Cardiff University. She works within the community and wondered if she could actually give a talk to speak about social prejudice and implicit racism. This talk would be an eye-opener for all. As you know, in society, we've come across a lot of barriers that prevent us from thriving going forward. And this talk would promote a lot of confidence, open or unlock a lot of questions, and, you know, basically present to us questions and answers, and to see what's actually going on in society and why it affects BAME so much as well.
You have 1 minute left.
Right, okay. Just to reiterate, New Dimensions is a wonderful church, and they've been running for 2 years, and we just continue to go on and thrive. If anyone at all would like to come and see what we're doing, you're welcome. I can give you email address, phone number, and also I'm open, or we are open to collaboration with everybody, and likewise. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Marie. Our Newport Cultural Hub is open to all, and we are grateful that you're a part of that grassroots groups within our association. We're not there to try to persuade anyone or indoctrinate anyone, but we're there to share and celebrate diversity. So thank you, Marie, for your participation in that. New Dimensions Faith Fellowship. We're now moving on to Newport Sudanese Community Association, and the lovely Magdi Adam Ibrahim will now be speaking on behalf of Newport Sudanese Community Association. Is Magdi there? Can you unmute, please? Okay, I think we'll move on then to the Newport Gambian Association, and we now have Bineko Toure, the chairperson, to speak on behalf of that.
Yeah, hello everyone. Good morning.
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 Yeah, like you said, my name is Bineko Toure. I'm the chairperson of the Newport Senegambia Association. As the name implies, we are people of Senegambian origin living in the Newport. We came together about 4-5 years ago with the idea of coming together to celebrate our culture and tradition, and also to promote community integration and social cohesion. Yeah, as we are having kids growing up in the UK, we thought it would be very, very important and very wise to kind of introduce them to our traditions and cultures so that they know their origin. So we've been doing that in different forms by doing our traditional naming ceremonies, like when somebody got a baby, we do our normal traditional naming ceremonies. So we normally gather together and then do these rites in our traditional way, and also according to our religion. So we've been doing that. And also we've been taking part in other cultural activities that happened around Newport. One of our key partners is the Mendi Festival Association. We've been taking part, showing our culture, traditions in there, and then also cooking some traditional food. We also took part in other association, other programs like the Peel Carnival, and we are also a member of GAVO as part of the networking team. Yeah, so basically we're more of integrating, trying to show our culture and tradition to the people of Newport, and then also learning from other cultures. So we're really, really happy to be part of this cultural hub. As we are still very new, we are learning a lot. So it is really, really great to be part of this cultural hub, and we look forward to working together with everybody in this, and we hope to learn from you, and then as also expect you to be learning from our cultures and traditions. Yeah, so to be in a brief note, that's what we are. That's what we are. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you so much, Banako, chairperson of the Newport Senegambian Association, doing great work. We'll learn from you as well. This is what the hub is all about, learning together, learning from each other, and ensuring that we celebrate our diversity. This is Newport, one city, one voice, celebrating diversity. Thank you so much. We're now going to be moving on to the Zimbabwe Newport Volunteering Association. Robert Musa, I know he's been traveling in Africa, the sunny, beautiful Africa. So hopefully he's online and he's going to be able to share with us now about the Zimbabwe Newport Volunteering Association. Is Robert Musa online?
Robert is not online, but he sent me something that I can share with you guys.
Okay, so Angeline Tishani is going to share some information.
Okay. Hello, everybody. So just representing Robert Musa with the Zimbabwe Volunteering Organization, which was formed in 2006. And Robert right now is in Zimbabwe doing some work on the ground there with funds funded by the Hub Cymru Africa. It's a COVID response project that he's doing right now. He's got actually 3 projects that are running. There is a food bank, which was started quite a while ago, and it runs until 2021. And this was supported by BAUZO, and it's specific to certain BAM communities. And before he did that, he said he ran another May to July project, which was funded by the Newport City Council. And then in Zimbabwe, every day they're feeding 700 children with porridge in the morning. And this is a response as well to COVID. And this is funded by the Hub Cymru Africa. And then annually, they have projects which include family events, fun days, Africa Day, Refugee Week, football tournaments, which promote community cohesion and inclusion, and also migrants, all from the Newport society. So it's basically a group that encompasses everybody, all the other Zimbabwe community organizations as well. So it's run by volunteers from all over. So that's it basically for the Zimbabwe Volunteering Organization.
Thank you so much, Angeline, for stepping in for Robert Musa. And obviously there you're doing a great work. He's doing a great work. We know Robert across Newport, helping Newport, but also helping people in Africa. What a great, great opportunity to really show love, charity, and humanity to those who are suffering as a result of COVID. When life throws lemon at you, just put some water in it and mix it up and make it into lemonade so that other people can have something to look forward to. Those children with porridge in the morning and something to eat. That is so touching. Thank you so much, Angeline, for sharing that. Now we're going to move on to Maindy Cricket Club. And would the representative of Maindy Cricket Club please just unmute yourself and let us hear more about your organization. Is the representative from Maindy Cricket Club here?
Pastor, I think Magdi was able to unlock himself. If you're happy for him to share.
Oh yes, please. Yes.
Yes, I'm not having difficulty. Just I'm practicing how to share a screen, but I lost it for a second.
Are you ready now?
Yes.
Okay. All right then. So this is Magdi, and he will be sharing in the Newport Sudanese Community Association.
Hi everyone, it's Magdi. Would like to share a screen. I hope you've seen the screen.
Yes.
Okay, good. Magdi Adam Ibrahim is the Newport Sudanese Community Association. I am secretary. I would like to go through some of about Sudan, and then we go to Newport Sudanese community, and we view some of our different cultures and what we've been doing in Newport. So we start as unusual. Just I've got some video from Sudan with a little Scottish twist. I hope you will be able to figure it out. Just enjoy with me. That's enough for music. I hope you figure out the twist. Now we're moving to Sudan. Sudan is located in the north east of Africa, with the river Nile flowing all the way to the south. And the ancient kingdom of Kush was located in the Nile basin, in what is now Sudan, which is the land of the black. The conflict of cultural, religion, and ethnicity, beside corrupted and governance in Sudan, had led to 50 years of war. And war is divided Sudan into north and south. The South Sudan is called the Southern Sudan, and the North Republic of Sudan. And even though the war is draining the resources of Sudan, especially in Darfur, the civil war in Darfur resulted in eradication of villages, thousands of civilians, casualties, displacement, and hundreds of thousands of people. In the other side, we've had Sudan is rich with its agriculture, livestock, mineral, and oil, in the rich in wildlife, as in at Dindir Civil Park. Just something to remind you this. And Jabal Marra in Darfur and Sanganeb Marine National Park on the Red Sea are the best tourist location. A Newport Sudanese community, we started in 2006, and the first chair is Mamoun Bashir, elected. The community start gaining presence in Newport and Wales. And we've got Dr. Abdullah Muhammad, who was awarded an OBE for the contribution of community relation in Wales in 2008. He is appointed as the honorable chair of the community. During Mamoun Bashir time, the community started to presence in Newport and Wales, and the community succeeded in arranging many functions and activities. In 2008, the general election, I been elected the chair, and the community started to reclaim its presence. We started Arabic school for the community in Newport. We organized several family trips to Forest of Dean and Break and Bacon, and in YMCA and in community house as well. In 2016, Dr. Adil Awad was elected chair, but he had to move to London. Then his deputy, Mr. Bakhit Imam, took over. The current chair was Mr. Al-Fatih Muhammad Khair, was elected in 2018. I have a little welcome back home story. As you all know, Sudan is being ruled by British, and there were so many famous British soldiers being sent to Sudan, like General Gordon and Kitchener. One of the soldiers are General Sir Herbert Jackson. And
we have 1 minute left.
Yeah, he decided to stay behind in Sudan. And in his return, he fought in the North Sudan in Marawi. And one of his grandson is Nasruddin Abbas Jaksa. He is a famous football player. And Mr. Jaksa, he is born in Omdurman and was the best football player in Africa. He had 2 grandsons and 1 granddaughter. They live in Newport. His granddaughter is Aisha Adam. Aisha Adam, born in Newport Gwent Hospital, and she is a student in Clean High. Welcome back to home, Aisha. I would like to finish same as I started, just a quick video, less than a minute video.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Magdi, for that. We would have really missed out if we hadn't heard from you today. Sudan, land of virtues, land of the Blacks. Thank you for the history that you have brought us onto today, as well as to tell us about its famous sons and daughters and wonderful music. So thank you so much for all that you've shared with us today. We've learned a lot. We look forward to learning more during the hub. Thank you. So now it's my pleasure to go back to Maindy Cricket Club. And if there is the representative there to tell us about what you do. Is there anybody for Maindy Cricket Club? Okay. So we'll move quickly on then to the Bengal Warriors. Is there a representative here for Bengal Warriors? Okay, maybe they'll be coming on later on. We'll go now to the Carers Cube social community group that's been led by the fantastic Shabir Hussain. Is Shabir online to tell us more about the Carers Cube?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. That's just Hadassah. Thank you. Good morning, Borodar, Salam, Sat Sri Akal, Namaste. This is a proud moment, an opportunity to celebrate. We have truly come a long way. I'm Shabir Hussain, founder and leader for Carers Cube. My story is, from a young age, I cared for my late father. He was an infantry soldier for the British Indian Army and fought for World War II and was a prisoner of war. Then I cared for my late mother, who had long-term ill health. This past journey had its challenges. I cared for loved ones in the only way I knew best, which was to care for them with great maturity. This wasn't something I talked about very much or shared my experiences about. The journey felt very secretive. I would rarely disclose my situation. There's an old saying in the Asian culture, never show what is going on inside of you. Otherwise it's like exposing all the problems you have in your stomach. I knew there were other carers out there that wouldn't speak out, that were in the same boat. I started to meet another carer in my street. It felt worthy talking about our caring roles, sharing experiences, providing each other emotional support. This really made us feel better. We're not alone. This is how Carers Cube began nearly 2 years ago. Slowly, we got more carers involved. Back in August 2019, we started to meet carers in Punjabi Kitchen in Newport City Centre. This was very nice to have conversations with other carers over a cup of tea and samosas. We felt like a unit. And then we decided to call the group Carers Cube, you know, a social communities group for Newport adult carers of ethnic minority, including the cared for. This allowed some of our carers to bring their cared for, their husbands and their wives, particularly if they were in wheelchairs as well. So as we progressed, we started to look at carers' issues, to represent their voice in mainstream organizations when possible. We all learned from each other about expressing feelings and positive emotions. The Social Services Wellbeing Act 2014 gave carers the equal rights as the cared for. So that was very welcomed. We had received a kind donation to watch theatre at the riverfront. Seeing how much the carers enjoyed this was worth watching. It was very touching indeed. They had never been to a theatre before. Our meetups went on to Super Bowl and seeing carers bowl. It was worth seeing in a good way. And then we grown up to 30 members at this point, forming one voice. Then COVID came, everything stopped. We kept in touch with our carers over the phone. Most didn't have smartphones or laptops. We received a kind donation for a few refurbished laptops from Waste Savers, which were hand delivered and were shown how to use. We have managed to keep in touch with some virtually, but not all. We would have liked for all carers to meet up virtually, but currently it's not possible. Most of our carers are digitally excluded due to low income and poverty reasons. Some of our carers are caring for people with dementia, learning disabilities, and physical disabilities. We had supported our carers with getting food parcels thanks to Feed Newport CIC. We had tried to apply for funding, hadn't had much luck, unfortunately. It's a pleasure to say that we have space at the future Multicultural Hub, which thanks to Race Council Cymru who have led this, and we can meet together once again, hopefully in the future, and call it our home. We all have a story to tell. One of our carers had written a short poem, and I found it to be symbolically sensational, which was written during the lockdown and would like to share with you. Here it goes. I look through the net of my window when we wait. We hope we can walk beyond the gate. I watch the news and fed up of the debate. I care for my loved one and hope it's never too late. We hope things get better before our death date. Thank you. Diolch, shukriya, dhanyavad, shukran. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Shabir. Thank you. Often we hear about those who've been cared for, but we don't hear about the carers and all that they had to go through. So it's great that you were able to, out of tragedy, build up something that is triumphant now for all of those carers. And thank you for that poem, symbolically sensational. Excellent. Thank you, Shabir. Brilliant. And now we'll be moving on to South Wales Jamaica Society, a place where I'm part of, the secretary there, and I'm delighted to introduce my own sister, Val Radway, who'll be speaking on behalf of South Wales Jamaica Society. Great speaker, eloquent speaker, and my beautiful sister, Val Radway.
Thank you for that, Hadassah. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you to Race Council Cymru in particular and Newport City Council. Thank you for inviting us. I'm representing South Wales Jamaica Society today. That group originally started in Cardiff some time ago. There were two co-founders at the time, two wonderful, eloquent women, Hilary Brown and Liz Millman. The Society for South Wales Jamaica Society came out of links with North Wales Jamaican Society. The aim at the time was to develop a national strategy for Jamaican in Wales to work with and strengthen the bonds with Jamaicans in Jamaica. That group lasted for some time, but again, it was reconvened in October 2018, which gave birth to the current South Wales Jamaican Society, which is chaired by Chris Campbell. We too have a remit to support people in Jamaica, but we're also wanting to support Jamaicans in Wales in particular. Our patron actually is the High Commissioner for Jamaica, Seth George Ramakan. He supports and endorses the activities of the South Wales Jamaican Society, as well as North Wales Jamaica Society. So we are a grassroots community activist group. Our activity really is about equity and social justice. We operate principally, but not exclusively, for people of Jamaican heritage, or those people who have an interest or a love for our beautiful island of Jamaica, its people, and its diaspora. We work really for community cohesion. We have done, in the relative time that we've been operating, collaborated with a number of organizations, namely Race Council Cymru, the Windrush Elders, Bhutan Community Center, Caribbean Heritage, Age Alive, to name just a few. It fits really with our motto, our Jamaican motto, which is out of many, one people. The fact that we are working towards community cohesion keeps us grounded in that motto. I think it also has echoes for what Newport is trying to do in its one voice, one city, and celebrating diversity. We are a small group, a small committee, We have around 7 to 8 people on the committee right now. What we have been doing has been wanting to support members of our community. We have worked to bring about Windrush celebrations with other members of the community in 2018. We worked with hosting a religious inaugural celebratory service with the New Testament Church of God in Newport. We did that jointly with Caribbean Heritage Cymru, with Race Council Cymru as well. That was a fantastic event that was well attended. Southwest Jamaican Society in Cumbran also put on an event for Windrush celebration in 2018 at the Thornhill Community Centre. Again, that was well attended. More recently, we have been working with food packages for people in Newport and the Cumbran area. Prior to lockdown, Southwest Jamaican Society secured funding for a Thornhill Community Centre where we provided a breakfast club, and also food parcels for families in Cumbran. Currently, we were lucky enough to secure lottery funding in September, October of this year. That enabled us with Bhutan Community Centre to begin a food parcel service, primarily for Newport and some people in Cumbran. Our official base actually is Bhutan Community Centre. However, most of our work, in fact, all of our work is around Newport and the surrounding areas. We have had input into Black History 365. Southwest Jamaican Society has worked with Race Council Cymru and the Welsh Government in helping to bring about the draft Welsh National Curriculum that is about to be published. We have been part of the Newport Hub since its inception. Another thing that Southwest Jamaican Society has been doing is we've been supporting families in Wales that has been affected by the criminal injustices that permeate the criminal justice system. We've also been supporting Northwest Jamaican Society to bring about support and reparation to local schools and communities in Jamaica that have been linked to the Penryn estate in North Wales and the slave owner, Richard Pennant.
You have 1 minute left, Val.
Okay, thank you, Hadassah. Our future projects that we would like to work with includes education project with Black History 365. We would like to continue to work with Race Council Cymru and the Windrush elders. In fact, Race Council Cymru has been our biggest partners over the last 18 months. We would want to move our food project from Cardiff to Newport, and we're hoping to work with Gavo to be able to bring that to fruition. We are developing greater links with North Wales Jamaica Society, along with the Waiya West Indian here. We want to expand our social media platform. And last but not least, we want to be able to attack period property in Jamaica, where we can work with schools and girls in Jamaica to prevent a period poverty. Our work in Jamaica has included working with the nursery in Jamaica to provide monetary support to make the nursery more secure, to provide beds and cots for the children. We have worked with Alicia Scott, a local artist, to provide PPE. In October, we sent 4 barrels to Jamaica to provide PPE to local schools, working with the education department in Jamaica.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Val. Thank you. Southwest Jamaica Society, we're little but we talawa. And just So, just to interpret, we are little, but we have great power and presence. And then you've heard that from Val of all the things that have been done in such a short space of time. Thank you, Val, eloquent as ever. Thank you so much, my sister. And I'm sorry to have to be cutting in when people are speaking, but in the interest of time, just to move on. Great stuff. So now I'd like to move on to Age Alive and Mr. Roy Grant to tell us about the work there. Is Mr. Grant online? Our great poet of Newport, Mr. Roy Grant, representing Age Alive. Okay, so moving quickly on then to Newport BME Badminton. Are they online? Okay, we may be able to make up some time later on then, it would seem. Okay, so Ahmadiyya Muslim Association. Anyone online? Ahmadiyya Muslim Association. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you know that we have a number of groups. There are at least 23 groups that are part of this Newport Cultural Hub. And we're so grateful that those people turn up to meetings. Maybe people are working and can't get the time to be here with us, but nonetheless, they've always been very supportive of what is going on. So I'm just going to move on to the Alice Foundation Light for Life.
I don't think anybody could come because there's sickness within the organization.
Oh, thank you for letting us know, Ingrid. Thank you. What about Faith in God Ministry Wales? Okay, all right. Now, Madzimi Panwe, and that is Angeline Tishani. Now, I know Angeline is online, so could we have some more information about that, please?
Okay, hello everybody. I'm trying to put my camera on. I don't know what I've done. Okay, start video. Right, I don't know, is it possible for me to share my screen?
Yes, you should be able to.
Okay, I don't even know how to do that.
At the bottom of your screen, you should see a green box which says share screen. If you just move the cursor across the bottom, you should see it says share screen. You click on that, and then you'll be able to share your screen with us.
Do I have to be in full screen for me to do that?
No.
No, I can't see it. Anyway, I'll just talk about Madzimai Pamwe anyway. We were formed in 2007 as Batanai Bambanani Women's Network Wales, and most of you would know, I'm sure, Ingrid, Vanessa, Jane, loads of people on the group on the forum right now know about Madzimai Pamwe as Batanai Bambanani Women's Network. And then we reformed to be called Madzimai Pamwe. We actually a Zimbabwean Newport-based group of women who promote community cohesion, sports, healthy eating. We're into all sorts. But our most notable achievement has been the Njuzu Community Swimming Group, which we started in 2015, teaching people from BAM backgrounds how to swim, as with me being the swimming instructor. And then we also formed a group for exercise called Sanganai, women's exercise group, where women from all sorts of walks of life, not even from BAM communities, but we're just a group of mixed women, encouraging each other to eat healthy and stay fit. And then we also started a group called Zim Voices, and this is a singing group, and we mostly sing Zimbabwean songs in collaboration with other musicians, with other choirs as well. And we've been all over Wales, especially Cardiff, Wrexham, Abagaveni, collaborating with other musicians. And our most notable achievement has been to do a single with a gentleman called Al Lewis. He's a Welsh singer, and we sang a song about Zimbabwe called Ikoko ku Zimbabwe, meaning there in Zimbabwe, because his father, he composed this song because his father went to Zimbabwe at one time. And the other thing that we do as well is to promote international development. So basically, we got funding from Hub Cymru Africa under the Wales for Africa grant, where we promote education and health for some of our rural area connections. So we did a health project called Hope for Zimbabwe, where we built a shelter for pregnant women who actually live in rural areas, and there's only one district hospital in the area, so they travel long distances, and because of complications, they have to stay at the hospital. But the accommodation that they had at the hospital was not up to scratch, so they asked for us to help them to do that, of which the women actually helped in digging the foundations, mixing the cement and everything right from the get-go up to the end product. So those are some of the things that we've been doing. So we raise funds here in Wales by involving other organizations in the work that we do. So we raise funds in singing, having dinners, having all sorts of community events that we hold. So if anyone wants any more information about us, you can call me or you can email me. There's loads of information that I can always dish out. We haven't been very active lately because of everything that's been going on in my own health as well. So thank you so much, guys. But sorry, I couldn't share my screen. Technology is kind of like is a challenge for me at the moment. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Angeline. Thank you. We've learned a lot from what you're doing. Swimming instructor, my goodness, hats off to you, my sister. And also those women digging cement or mixing cement to help with hospitals as well, and all the singing that you do. We're grateful for all of that. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. We're moving right along now, and going to go to Kieran and Tamasri Mokhapadhyay is now going to be speaking about that organization. Kieran. Tamasri, I know you're online, so can you just unmute, please, and tell us about your association? You've got 5 minutes.
Thank you. Good morning, respected guests, friends, and Hub members. Great to see all of us under one roof. And thank you, Professor Uzo IOB, patients, RCC, and team for making this happen for us. I am Tamasri, CEO from Kiran, a third sector organization, community organization, started its journey in Wales in 2018. And Kiran is working for the community well-being and cohesion through art, theatre, culture, and heritage. Kiran started its work in 2018, and gradually it's expanded. And its aim is to create a platform of systematic and meaningful community engagement through art, culture, heritage, and we focus on innovative ideas, collaborating with other organizations, and delivering excellent opportunities for community inclusion. Kiran wants to provide community members with a vibrant and dynamic experience of positive community interaction. Kiran upholds social equality and is committed to fighting social isolation and loneliness. To build more inclusive communities, we undertake several projects regularly. Our outreach programs are planned by community members who are the end users and beneficiaries of those projects. Community members are consulted at every step of any project through different channels. Kiran believes that it is very important to have inclusive communities based on the principle of equality. We aim to achieve sustainable and measurable results through regular and meaningful engagement. By engaging through art, culture, and heritage, we try to empower local communities to challenge mistrust and racism. By creating meaningful engagement opportunities, we aim to build inclusive communities based on shared values which are resilient to hate. All of Kiran's projects are centered around local communities, planned, organized, and executed by the members of those local communities. If we have an interesting idea about how to remove social isolation and make social communities more inclusive and equal, we would love to hear from you. During this pandemic, Kiran realizes that our BME communities need some legal advice, and which should be free, because some of the legal advices are so expensive that people, though they need it, but they can't reach it. So what Kiran does, Kiran branch out to Kiran Legal, and which is a community law center. Its mission is to make a positive impact on people's lives, especially the most vulnerable and socially excluded. Kiran Legal is providing free, confidential, and independent legal advice to people living, working, and studying in and around Cardiff. Kiran Legal's lawyers, caseworkers, volunteers provide free, confidential, and independent legal advice in housing and welfare benefit matters. We also provide equality, diversity, and inclusion training to community organizations, charities, and other private and public organizations. During this pandemic, Kiran also established an online magazine called Golpo Cloud in support of International Center for Bengali Culture and Heritage UK. To mobilize,
1 minute.
Thank you. To mobilize the BME communities whose main language is Bengali and who wanted to vent out through writing. This magazine reached 27,000 hits in last 7 months and secured more than 100 writers across the globe. And I think this is one of the most biggest opportunity we are giving to the communities now. Thank you for giving Kiran an opportunity to be a part of this excellent journey. Thank you, Uzo Ayobi, Professor Uzo Ayobi. Thank you, RCC, and thank you all of the members for giving us the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kumazri, for telling us all about the work that you're doing to fight against injustice and racism, and to help people, particularly with legal advice for housing and other things that they may need the legal advice for. Excellent. Thank you ever so much for that. All right, now I'm going to move on to Caribbean Heritage Cymru, which is the chair, delightful Marilyn Bryan Jones, who is the chair of that association, will now be speaking on behalf of Caribbean Heritage Cymru. Marilyn, over to you.
Good morning, everybody. I think, is it still morning? I'm not sure. I think it is. Good morning, everybody. I'm here to talk about Caribbean Heritage Cymru. I'd just like to start off by saying about Jane Hutt. It was wonderful that she introduced the session this morning. Jane's path and my paths have crossed many times when she used to be involved in PIL and when I worked for local authority, and she really is a good champion of diversity, so it's nice to have her on board. I could never, ever do any presentation without mentioning Vanessa Cyril. Vanessa Cyril is such a wonderful role model, as we call her, Mama Cyril. She's a wonderful role model for us all in Newport. She has been fighting for equalities for as long as I can remember. Vanessa and myself, we were former board members of SEWREC. And it was with a heavy heart when SEWREC left. And there was a lot of unrest and fear within the community, I would say. And so the fact that this one voice, like the lovely Pastor Dassa has been saying, one voice, that we've come together in Newport to do something about that. And that is really, really good. And I'm really pleased to be part of that. What happened was Caribbean Heritage Cymru came out of the wonderful Vanessa Cyril. Her and I, many years ago, we talked about the Windrush, and anybody who knows me knows I'm very, very passionate about Windrush, the Windrush elders, the contribution that the people in our communities have made before myself. And we came together and we said, it's a shame we can't do anything. And Vanessa used her contacts, so she's very persuasive, to get us a small amount of funding. And we had an event in the Pale Harriers, which was very well attended. And when we had that event, people were really enjoyed it, and they said, actually, we need to do more of this. We've got a community that's not engaging. We need to do something about this. So in the following year, a few people got together and we said we can do something about it. And that's why Caribbean Heritage was formed. So we decided we were going to take action and do something. As a result of that, our first event was in supporting the Windrush, and we had a really good event, supported very well by Edward Watts, who's always been a very good supporter of us. And we had in the Seaman's Mission, and it was again, Vanessa was our keynote speaker, and I was absolutely delighted that she did that. And we had Vanessa along with other high profile speakers. So we had Hadassah's lovely nephew from Cardiff, Nathan Palmer, who's very high up in fashion design. We had some local police officers. We were supported by the lovely Jane Bryant and John Griffiths, who've been mentioned before. And also Uzo, Sister Uzo has been fantastic from Race Council Cymru and Kay, and they came there and they supported our event. That was well attended. We went on from that. We had a lovely, really warm, friendly event in the missions again, which we were supported again. On a Saturday, we called it, in the Caribbean community, we have soup on a Saturday. We call it Saturday soup, and that's what we did. So we invited the elders. They told lovely stories. And we had, again, Vanessa supported us, as she always does, and there was lovely displays about the projects that we had, and it was great storytelling. Elders showed the young people how to play dominoes and Ludo. It was wonderful. We then went and had another event a year later at the License Institute in partnership with them. They were very supportive of the event. And we had, again, food. We had a small amount of funding again from, I'm pleased to say, Welsh Assembly Government, and that went really, really well. And we had a quiz, and we had food, and again, people really was happy about that event. Also, what happened as well, because the impact of COVID, we've all had to work very, very differently. So as a result of that, this year, we weren't able to do an event. We weren't able to do anything face-to-face. So as said, as Pastor Dasawatwe said, about working together, one voice. So we worked in partnership with South Wales Jamaican Society, with Val is on the call and Hadassah part, and we did a very successful event where we fed 150 people in the South East area, mainly Newport and Cymru, and people were absolutely delighted by it. So I was really pleased about that. I just want to share my screen with you and show you a very short video to show you about what we've done, to show you one of the projects. Should be playing now. I say. Oh, sorry, it's not playing. Sorry, it doesn't look like it wants to play. Okay, sorry about that. It doesn't look like it wants to play. So maybe another time. So the video was just really of us delivering food and that lovely smile on people's faces at the end of it. And so again, perhaps at a future event, we'll show this. But Caribbean Heritage Cymru, we're really pleased to be here, and we're really pleased to support the Caribbean community. And it's been wonderful, and people have said they want to do more.
Marilyn.
Sorry?
Half a minute.
Oh, half a minute. Okay. So just things for the future. We want to work with other organisations in Newport, like Gavo, South Wales Jamaican Society, and anybody who wants to work with us, really. We're hoping to do, we've got some funding to deliver meals to vulnerable people, and the lovely Jane Bryant helped us a week ago deliver some meals, and we're hoping to have a buddy scheme. We've got lots of interest in that with vulnerable people and Caribbean elders. So as I just want to finish off by saying, as Pastor Radway said earlier on, we are standing on the shoulders of giants. So people like Vanessa and people who've worked hard before have allowed us the opportunity to try to move things on and work together. So thank you very much, Jochen Val. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Marilyn, Chair of Caribbean Heritage Cymru. And yes, we are standing on the shoulders of giants today.
Thank you so much, Marilyn, Chair of Caribbean Heritage. And yes, we are standing on the shoulders of giants. Can you hear me? Okay, because it's coming up that I'm muted, but okay. We're standing on the shoulders of giants. You've done a great job in the community and over the years championing the cause of equality. And you've been there right in the forefront, fighting for justice. And we're grateful to you, Marilyn, for all you've done and continue to do with the community. Thank you so much. We're going to move on now to Ludek PCG and Zuka Hilton. Zuska Hilton, are you here?
Hi.
Okay, there you are. Hi.
Hi. Ludek is a very specific group in the fact that we are not officially part of BME communities according to the official definition. However, we are Polish people are a new migration, and there is a lot of us here. And what Polish community does is trying to firstly understand what is needed. Remember, we are that part of migration that still sometimes struggle. Our main barrier will be language. So there is a lot of helping with that. Our first, everybody talked about what they've done before. Our first big event that we organized was a Polish festival in Newport. There was 8 of us, organized it in 8 weeks, and we delivered it to, as it turns out, 2,500 people turned up. Some of the members of the hub have been there to support us as well. That showed us that there is need to show who we are, what we do. We are the new kids on the Newport block, and we want to be a part of this amazing, diverse community. We have been working with EU settlement scheme, because obviously this is a new thing that's coming for not only for Polish community, but also for other Eastern European communities. Well, EU communities. So we've been trying to help with that and spread the message. And what our main thing is trying to provide two-way communication between what our community needs are, what are the barriers, but also to be able to provide the communication channel for all the important information coming into our communities. We are here. We are very, very grateful to be invited to this hub, because we are learning so much, and the fact that we are able to ask questions and able to find out where to find the information has been a great help for us, especially in the last few months. Over the course of the COVID pandemic, we had over 130 people coming and asking us for help. Some of them we were obviously able to help within our means, but big thanks to Brother Reggie. He helped us secure a family with food. There were problems, anything from IT availability to parents not understanding what is required of the children, because obviously sometimes their English isn't up to speed. There was also cases with home problems and stuff. We are trying to figure out our place in Newport and how we can help our community and how we can help your community to understand us. So and it's amazing to be part of this hub. So thank you very much, and thank you for answering my millions of questions and pointing me in the right directions.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Zuzka. Thank you so much for the Polish community. And as has been said earlier by my sister, when it comes to Jamaica, out of many one people. And you are, even if officially the definition doesn't say that you're part of the BAME group. You certainly are. As far as we're concerned, we're all in this together. And so thank you for that. And language, yes, you know, could be a barrier, but love is never a barrier. So we thank you for that, Zuzka. Now, is there anyone here from Roots to represent that organization? Roots. Okay, moving on then to, we're going to now look at the Ethnic Youth Support Team East, and that's going to be represented by Rahila Ahmed, great Rahila, hard worker throughout the community again, shoulders to stand on over the years, working so hard for the community and others. Rahila, over to you.
Yeah, I'm here, yeah. I don't know how to put myself anyway on the screen. I don't know if anybody could help me. If not, I'll just speak anyway as I am here. Sorry.
Have you got a share screen?
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
So once you press share screen, that's it. Yes.
Sorry, Sister Hila, you need to open the documents in your desk. Save it in your desktop as you open it. Then when you share a screen, it only open what's in your desktop.
No, I don't have any document. I'm just going to.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So don't worry. No, it's okay. I'm just going to technology. Sorry. Yeah. Bigger screen. Anyway, I'm just here. Can everybody hear me? As long as you can hear me. Okay. Yeah. East stand for Ethnic Youth Sport Team. They've been in Swansea for 15 years. I'm a Newport person for 40 years, lived in Newport, 25 years starting from age concern to mind, and now with East. So I'm privileged to be here actually and part of BME Cultural Hub. We won't be there, but I always believe that we can make changes in partnership, regardless who we are and where we are actually. That's my very much strong belief. And also Ginger always said that we are recognized as, not as an East worker, but as a Newport person. So which is, you know, obviously having the trust. So anyway, it's a BME program that I work on, engagement program funded by Welsh government, raising the barriers and inequalities in health and social care and other services. We've done a lot of forums before, but since COVID-19 has been an eye-opening, like for us actually, because it has raised a lot of other issues. My focus has been on older people actually, because if I'm honest, for about a year actually, there's been difficulties accessing health services, health and social care services. So it was not my role to help people one-to-one, but someone has to do it, especially when there is a language barrier from Asian communities. So a lot of gaps have been identified, which at the same time, we've been working with a lot of partners, which will be Newport City Council, obviously Heather's team, YMCO, Public Health Wales, BME Cultural Hub. We've got Feud Newport, Community House. So we've got a lot of, and we've got made so many other links with other organizations. East also did about 21 forums across Wales, which was impact of COVID-19 on children, young people, families, to older people, education, employment, you name it. We did kind of cover hate crime, so very much diverse. Apart from that, we also have other services, which is EU services. We've got Aliska, who is in Newport, working with Community House, Newport Mind, and other partners to help people to apply for settlement schemes. I think she's also joined actually maybe Feed Newport for the parcel deliveries to EU deprived families. We've got Children and Young People Project, which they only joined us in May, but because they joined from lockdown, it's been a little bit difficult for them to have a face-to-face contact. But hopefully once they will be, because they will be helping people with welfare benefits, education, social care services, mental health and well-being of young people, and engaging with other like schools and other organizations as well. If I'm honest, actually, there's been a lot of barriers. And one of the things I kind of realized that I used to work with Mind since that service ended, I end up picking up the pieces actually, and I've still got probably 10 people I've got Iranian, Sydney, Bengali, Pakistani people that I'm helping with benefit applications, whatever comes through the door actually. So that's a lot of part of my work is actually on voluntary basis actually, which is great. But I need to look after myself, as everybody says to me. To begin with, I felt really for myself, I couldn't go out because of my own conditions. But it's great to be part of BAME Hub. I know I was checking with Brother Reggie that so-and-so person we knew for many years that they had the food. So it was good to work like food parcels, access to health and social care, helping a lady who's been very vulnerable, unfortunately, with physical disabilities. So there's been so many organizations and so many people to work with actually. So I think that's about it actually. I know obviously doing a lot of work, but I was thinking, would I be able to cover in 5 minutes? So I think that's about it actually. But anybody obviously, we are here, people, though I'm not able to go out, but still be here for people. We signpost people, community connectors. So we've got about nearly 100 organizations actually who are on board with us delivering services across Wales. Yeah,
thank you so much, Rahila. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
A voice and a face that is recognized all over Newport.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you.
East Wales, doing a fantastic job. And yes, she says that she's there picking up the pieces with all the different community groups and the things that they need. Every now and then we hear from Rahila with a lovely message in our chat groups, just really trying to bring community together and talking about love and looking out for one another. So Rahila, big up. Jamaican term to say well done.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Time's going now, so we'll have to move on very quickly, Rahila.
That's fine, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. And now to the Newport Somali Association Chair, Omar Ali. I'm just going to say, this is what we used to say in church. If you're singing a song, it's got 4 verses, cut it down to 2, because time's going. So we have allocated 5 minutes, but I'm just have to cut it down to 2 or 3 minutes. So I'm really sorry. We'll pick up on that as we go on. So Omar, you're the first one. 2 minutes, please.
Mr. Hadassah, I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you, yes.
You won't have any trouble with me this morning. I'll cut it down to one verse. I didn't do a presentation or anything like that. I'm just so glad and so happy to be part of such a big family. It's absolutely incredible I know I haven't taken part in any physical meetings really, because obviously we've had the pandemic, and I know Nazim, our sister who does the ladies section, has been to a couple of meetings. In terms of Newport Somali Association, I mean, you've had, we're very, very similar to a lot of the other communities who've come here, like the Yemeni community. The Somali community have been present in the UK over 100 years easily, and in Newport at least 100 years. So we've got quite a lot in common in terms of with like the Yemeni community, where you've had the seafarers, the seamen's houses, all that type of stuff. In terms of Newport Somali Association, some of you will be familiar with the organization I'm involved in. It's signposting, access to services, homework clubs. Those are the kind of things we've been involved in over the years. It has sometimes we've been more active, like Angie was saying, other times not so active. But I'm just really glad to be here this morning, to be part of this big, wonderful family. I have got to salute again Sister Vanessa Cyril, people like Edward Watts, because these people have been doing this work way before us. We've come on the back of them. So I do salute their work. I mean, in terms of practical things we're doing on the ground, day to day, the challenges for the BME communities are massive in terms of language barriers, poverty, worklessness. I'm currently, for the last 2 months, Pastor Hadassah, We're working with a Somali lady who's had both her legs amputated, very little English. Under COVID restrictions, she's isolated in the Gwent, now moved to the Grange Hospital, and her children are quite young, so they're isolated. So the trauma for both her and the children is huge, but that's all we can do. We're all of us are here in a voluntary capacity. We try and help. We lean on people like East, RCC. I can't thank Professor Uso enough. All the work you guys do. I could go on and on and on, but I know you wouldn't want to hear that, Pastor Hadassah. So I'll leave it there.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Omar. We'd love to hear you, but time runs on so quickly. And it's great that you're doing so much for the Somali community, being here over 100 years. And so, yes, we are celebrating Newport, one voice, one city, celebrating diversity today. And we have been meeting, as I said earlier, in the Council House. Councillor Jane Mudd has been gracious to bring us there, but we are really looking for a building whereby we'll be able to go as a group of people and we'll be able to share information about our different groups as well as celebrate our diversity. So that is what we are hoping for, brothers and sisters on this line, and we ask you to keep pushing, keep lobbying, keep talking, keep just saying, we need a space where we will be able to share all of our time together. Now, as I said, time's run out. We've got some invited guests here. We're going to go through them as quickly as possible. And so it's my esteemed pleasure to welcome Mr. Horace Barnes, and he will be speaking about why are West Indians here. You want to hear this man. He has so much to inform us about this project that originated in the West Midlands. So, Mr. Barnes, we had 5 minutes scheduled for you. I'm just wondering if you could just condense that to about 3 minutes, Mr. Barnes, and then others will follow it as well. Thank you so much, Mr. Barnes.
Yes, good morning, Pastor Hadassah and everybody else, Race Council Cymru, etc., etc. I'm hoping to share the screen. Can I share the screen, please?
You should be able to, Mr. Barnes.
What we're talking about is Newport saying one voice, one city, celebrating diversity. Here we go. We are celebrating diversity going back hundreds and hundreds of years. And it's all to do with one country, one nation. I'm trying to stop the music playing, but for some reason, it's there you go. So you've got evidence here going way back. All these people have stepped up to protect Britain. Britain asked for people to come forward and defend her. Britain asked for people to say that we are in trouble. We need your help. Britain said that we are at war with different countries, different nations. And over a period of over 500 years, going back for the West Indians and our ancestors, we have defended Britain. We have cared for Britain. We have nursed Britain. We have built Britain. We've protected Britain. Along with our Commonwealth cousins, the Yemenis who served basically in the First World War on the merchant navy ships, the Egyptian battalions. We've heard about Somalia, the nations of Africa, Nigeria, Uganda, Rhodesia, which is now called Zimbabwe, South African people that came forward. What about the Fijians? What about the Maoris? What about the Aborigines that came forward to fight for Britain? The Singapore, those from Singapore, Malaysia that came forward, Thailand to fight for Britain in the Second World War. You know, go back to the First World War. They came from India, United India, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, Indians, the Sri Lankans, they were called Ceylon then. But about the people from the Gurkhas, from Nepal. And you can see these people in front of you who have all served Britain with dignity and for the right reasons, for a free world for us all. Why is their stories being lost? Chris Campbell Consultancy brought us together with South Wales Jamaican Society. We're now here with Race Council Cymru. Thank you guys for everything that you're doing to introduce us to Wales. We work with the Royal Navy engagement team. We work with the RAF engagement team. We work with people like Colonel McGill, Major Peter Harrison, and many, many more. We talk about the Windrush. We talk about how we have defended and supported Britain. The question I have to ask you all, if this is what we've done and in times of war, willing to give our lives for our fellow man, why isn't it? Why can't we do this in times of peace? The Wild West Indian Project has been going for over 11 years, celebrating history beyond history. Nobody should forget what we have done. Nobody should forget what nations have come forward to do for Britain. Why has Britain forgotten the nations that stood up for her? Thank you, Pastor Adasa.
Thank you so much, Mr. Barnes. In 3 minutes, my goodness me, you have whetted our appetite. Why are West Indians here? We've worked, we've fought in the war. Why has Britain turned its back on us? I don't want to be preaching. That's not my platform today, but Mr. Barnes, thank you so much. Great stuff. And that project has been going for so long. We want it here in Wales. We want it in our schools. We want it across the nations, because it was everybody who came to fight for Britain. We're here because they were there. Okay, moving on to the Asian communities, and I'm just going to now ask 3 minutes on that, please. And if you could now speak to us on that, please. Anirban Mukapadi, you could just speak on that for us now.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Okay, yeah. Good afternoon, all, and respected dignitaries and eminent guests. I've been asked by the dignitaries and before the dignitaries and guests to speak about Asian communities in Wales. Before I begin, I just like to refer to the phrase or to the line the gentleman before me just highlighted. I am going to speak about Southeast Asian population, and we stem from the same root, which is United India under the British rule. If I described in few lines what India is and what India was, India still has 53 dominant languages. Northern India is minus 20 degrees Celsius and Western India is 48 degrees Celsius. India, if somebody from North India goes to South India, he will not be able to get understood and communicate because the language is so different from each other. And it goes hand in hand with a variety of culture and day-to-day habits and taboos and all these things. So I have been fortunate to be guided by somebody like my sister, Professor Uzo Ayobi, and she has been my inspiration and our inspiration, whether in terms of doing something for the community. I lived in Wales for last 20 years, and I am a qualified solicitor and accountant. So I came across many Asian families as individuals, businesses, and families. In terms of my social engagement, I am a religious scholar. I am a drum player and music player, and I also run a theatre group. And I am closely linked with Kiran, the organization who works on the grassroots for the BAME communities. So I gathered on my personal note and on my professional note, I gathered the problems being faced by the Southeast Asian communities. And I gathered because I speak 5 languages. I speak Hindi, Urdu, Bengali, and Sylheti and Punjabi. So the Southeast Asian population.
1 minute, please.
I'm just trying to give you the background. Southeast Asian population, to start with, suffering from 2 major shortcomings. Number one, the first generation who came to India is compromised in terms of their linguistic ability. And so they do not have the power to defend themselves in many times being right. So they have to forego their right, and they are not able to uphold their rightness. So they cannot prove to council, to HMRC that yes, this is my right, please give it to me. and they need help and support in terms of this compromised linguistic ability, number one. And number two, Asian populations still carry their social legacy with them, so they're very sensitive. They want to be a part of their fellow people. They want to celebrate their, like all other individuals. They want to celebrate their own cultures, own heritages, their own with their own people. And sometimes they do not get their opportunity, this opportunity, because of the age, because of the they cannot travel, because they are not physically fit to go out and enjoy. So their social and their outer, like, professional thing is compromised because of linguistic and because of the lack of opportunities for social interaction. And I think this hub in Newport is going to be very beneficial to bring them together and mitigate these issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that. Yes, and yes, there are the social disadvantages the groups are having and being compromised, and we understand that. We feel it from the heart, and that is the reason why we're here together, to work together with the council to ensure that there is racial justice, even for people who have 53 languages in their country. Thank you for sharing that with us, sir. We'll have more time to hear more about it as time goes on. I'm going to now move on to Change, Grow, Live and Show Racism, the red card, and it's our delightful Sean Wharton who's going to come and speak. Sean wears many hats in the community, but we all know we can depend on Sean to help and bring about justice for all. Sean Wharton, 3 minutes. I'm sorry, the time has had to go.
Don't worry, I'm used to this. You're on timer, so I'm on timer, so don't worry, I will be done within good time. Okay, it's my great pleasure to speak here today, and I'm going to keep it short. Okay, I feel so proud. I remember speaking to Reggie about this group, telling him how it connects people, but most importantly, as it is a group of individuals who, although different in many ways, have a shared goal and passion, which is equality. What a difference a year makes, and it gives me so much pleasure to see how much work Reggie and everybody else is doing within the community. As a Newport-born lad, raised here, I'm also proud to be part of this group because I know it will serve my community. Holistically, like most, I have been really, really excited about the fact that I had a connection with Vanessa. Vanessa actually not raised me totally, but she was like my godmother. I spent a lot of time with Vanessa as a child. So it was ingrained in me, equality and justice and fairness from a child up to today. Hopefully, we can stop celebrating firsts and rightfully expect and respect each other's qualities as a norm. But in my opinion, it's really important that we acknowledge and understand everybody's differences. I think that's key. Recently, I was doing a talk and a speech for somebody, and I met somebody else that was also doing the same talk about equality and diversity. And I said I was from St. Kitts, my family, and they said, "Is that near Zimbabwe?" And I was like, "Really?" No, it's not. Okay. So that's what we need to do. Today, as an officer of Change, Grow, Live, okay, I work with Black, Asian, Martin ethnic communities in order to find them work. This is an organization that people do not know about, but you need to know it because we're doing our communities a disservice by not ensuring that they have the opportunity to work, okay? They have quality staff, they have experienced staff, they have money to spend. I'm also an anti-racist educator for Show Racism They Can't, which is vitally important. I speak to solicitors, police officers, teachers, school children. I spoke to about 10,000 school children within the last year. I talk about skin color, race, religion, nationality, culture, because that's what's important to me, okay, and my life, and that reflects my community. And I want to represent everybody, okay, not just the people from St. Kitts and everybody else. There's no better time than now. And the recent backlash of the Sainsbury's advert is another reminder of how we need to be united as one, okay, and give all our community members a fair opportunity to live a positive life. It gives me great pleasure to see young Daniel Parcell on this group, okay, because he is the next generation of people who was positive social change and equality. So we need to embrace people like Daniel. He won't say a lot on this group, but he is very, very positive and he is very active in what he means to do. I'm going to use an analogy of a tree, okay, to finish. No tree can survive and grow without nurturing and anchoring roots. We have to create deep roots because the deeper they are, the stronger the tree will become. That is what this hub means to me. Okay, today is a good day and I'm proud to be part of this group. of like-minded people. Thank you so much. 3 minutes, 25 seconds.
Thank you, Sean. Brilliant. Yes, that is so good. And that you are doing so much for the young people as well, and wanting to carry on the good work that has been instilled and inculcated in yourself through people like Vanessa and obviously your mom and other members of the community. Great stuff. Well done. Thank you, Sean. Moving on to Autism's Hidden Voices. Is Yvonne here?
Hello, good morning, everyone, or afternoon, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I will try and be quick. Okay, I can start. Can everyone see the screen? I don't know if you can see the screen.
Yes, we can see.
Can you see the screen? Okay. I probably am the newest member in the Newport Hub, so to speak. This group was created actually due to COVID. I've been working behind the scenes with families with autism for 2 years with different charities. However, the COVID literally opened a can of worms. There are a lot of families, as you know, autism is something that is even something you struggle with in mainstream, but for our communities, there's added layers because of maybe language barriers, understanding the terminologies, the stigma, the shame of even admitting that you have a child with autism is still so much in the community. Sometimes it's literally pulling teeth, trying to get parents to come out and do stuff for their families, for their children. So that's how Autism Hidden Voices was created. Now, it's all about what we're trying to do is to empower families. I've put something there. If you meet one individual with autism, you've only met one individual. It's not common. It's a big spectrum. So what we do, we're a constituted group. We're working towards being a charity. We have a Facebook page with about 148 members from, I started the group to kind of get people in Newport, but I've got people from Africa and London and everyone in there to show you how much the need for this is there. We want to raise awareness, we want to signpost families to services. Now that is going already. However, the thing is, we find that a lot of families are missing out on information just because they're not coming out. They're losing a lot. I've met families who don't even know that they're entitled to certain benefits, and they go for meetings, school meetings, for statementing for their children, and they have no clue what they're being told in such meetings. So this is where we come to help them. So we raise awareness, and the group was created so that to get the parents to come together, meet other families, and be encouraged to get help for their children. We recently got funding, and the funding that we apply for is to create workshops where we bring the professionals to the families. I go to a lot of meetings and workshops, and I look around, and 9 out of 10, I am the only Black woman there with a child with autism. Where are my people? They are nowhere to be found. So I decided, you know what? Since the people cannot go to the services, I will bring the services to the people. So this is why we need funding, so that I can create these workshops and get them. So I get the solicitors, I get the health services to come to the families and explain it to us.
You have 1 minute left.
Yes, and then we do services. We get activities for children as well. And then the issues we face, families, autistic families need priorities because some of them are in flats rather than houses. We need services. We also need some communities. Like I'm happy to see a lot of people here. I would love to link up with you because you could be that change to these families. And long-term plan, we want to educate the families and the communities. We want to work with businesses to create job opportunities for autistic adults. We want some clauses in support services and even in policies to adapt to our community needs. And we also want sustainability of our activities for our children. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yes, that was a marathon, but you have done it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so I'm just going to, yes, that's not coming up. All right. So for me, I'm going to be talking about Black history and the curriculum. And just very quickly, I'm just going to take a couple of minutes to do that. Who are the British? Take some Picts, Celts, and Siliots and let them settle, then overturn them with Roman conquerors. Remove the Romans after approximately 400 years. Add lots of Norman French to some Anglo-Saxons, Jutes, and Vikings, then stir vigorously. Mix some hot Chileans, cool Jamaicans, Dominicans, Trinidadians and Bajans with some Ethiopians, Chinese, Vietnamese, and Sudanese. Then take a blend of Somalis, Sri Lankans, Nigerians, and Pakistanis. Combine some Guyanese and turn up the heat. Sprinkle some fresh Indians, Malaysians, Bosnians, Iraqis, Bangladeshis together with some Afghans, Spanish, Turkish, Kurdish, Japanese, and Palestinians. Then add to the melting pot. Leave the ingredients to simmer. As they mix and blend, allow their languages to flourish, binding them together with English. Allow time to be cool. Add some unity, understanding, and respect for the future. Serve with justice and enjoy. Note, all the ingredients are equally important. Treating one ingredient better than another will leave a bitter and pleasant taste. Warning, an unequal spread of justice will damage the people and cause pain. Give justice and equality to all. Benjamin Zephaniah, who are the British? We're here because they were there. We're all a part of this history. Black history is British history. I'm not going to be able to share the screen, but just quickly moving on, what has happened over this year is that Race Council has worked with Jane Hutt and also with Kirsty Williams, who is the Minister of Education. And there's going to be a new curriculum in Wales that will be introduced in 2022. Within that curriculum, there is going to be space for Black history to be taught in our schools. And Kirsty Williams set up an organization with Professor Charlotte Williams, who will be looking at how we can get Black history in our curriculum. You may say, well, what is a curriculum? The curriculum is just a set of what needs to be taught in our schools. And so Professor Charlotte Williams has been working with others to look at how that can be done. She has made 8 recommendations. I'm not going to be able to run through them because there's not enough time, but I will look at recommendations 7 and 8. One of her recommendations that ESTIN, which is the inspectorate, to review and report on how well schools deliver a broad and balanced curriculum that addresses diversity across all areas of learning and experience, and to promote the sharing of best practice through case studies and thematic reports. Recommendation 8, the creation of a new category for schools in future Wales Teaching Awards to promote the inclusion of Black, Asian, and minority ethnic histories, contributions, experiences across all subjects in school. That is what has been promoted through our Minister, Kirsty Williams, and also through Professor Charlotte Williams and the group that she's working with. So our curriculum will be changed. Who are the British? We are the British. All of those people who we've talked about who have come to make this country what it is today. I haven't got time to go through the history, but we will just move on from there. And now it's my pleasure to call on the delightful Reggie Al-Hadi to give us a summary of the presentations and the launch theme today.
Thank you, Sister Hadassah. First of all, I want to thank Sister Uzo for giving us direction and focus. With her determination, much of this would not be happening. So thank you, Sister Uzo. Also want to thank Vanessa Cyril and Edward Watts, who have been, the backbone of our communities and been working hard for many, many years for us to have this opportunity today. As you all know, some of the challenges we face, the current challenges were highlighted in the First Minister's BAME COVID-19 Advisory Group report of the Socioeconomic Subgroup chaired by Professor Emmanuel Ogbonna and Professor Uzo and their colleagues back in June. These structural inequalities and poor outcomes are still very evident as we speak. These outcomes are actually worsening for the BAME groups, as this is why we have come together to try and make a positive change as one community. We're here with the help of Heather Powell from NCC and the leader Jane Mudd, looking to identify this cultural hub, but not forgetting the contribution these individual groups that you've heard from today, bringing skills, knowledge and experience, which must not be lost. It's really, really important, because we have plenty of people, you know, that have presented today that offer a huge wealth of experience and knowledge. You know, and what we want to say is, if you invest and support in this community hub, these groups, they will give the city back far more than you can imagine. You know, Jane Hutt said this morning in her brief, you know, we are the lifeline of the community. You know, together we are stronger, and Newport having one voice, one city, celebrating diversity doesn't get better than that. And I hope that, you know, I hope you can take in what everybody has said. You can see all the grassroots organizations that are involved, people coming together. The unity we have is absolutely unbelievable right now, and we must take this forward. We cannot just, you know, talk about it, have meetings and just be another talk and workshop. You know, we need action, we need to move forward, and we need to move forward as one united group, because that's the only way we will get success. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Reggie, for synthesizing all that has been said today and throughout the meetings. Big up to you, Reggie, and thank you for that. And it's now my pleasure to introduce Heather Powell. She is the Connected Communities Community Cohesion Manager. Heather has been there from the very outset. Even at 11 o'clock at night, she's sending information to us as a group. She has championed the cause of equalities in Wales, in Newport, and is still doing so. So Heather, over to you. We're so grateful that you are part of this group.
Thanks, Hadassah. I'm not going to take up very much time, because I know, well, I don't want to get told off by you for a start, so I'll keep it short. But we've got Councillor Mudd speaking shortly, so I'm sure you'd much rather hear from her about some of the work that's going on in Newport. I think thank you first of all to Uzo, and in particular to Patience, for getting everybody together today, because I know she's worked really hard the last couple of weeks in trying to corral everybody and get everybody in one place. And I think that's been the significant thing for me, I guess, from today's event, is you hear about this work, and we communicate with people individually about the work that we're doing, and we try to support that. But when you hear all of those stories and all of those experiences and all of that knowledge in one place, as we have done today, it really reinforces how powerful that all is as a collective, and communities working together. So I think that's been great for us to hear about today. And also not only the impact that communities are having in Newport, but I think Rahila's already mentioned it in the chat, but the impact that people are still having globally, and the work that's going on in other countries being championed by people here in Newport. A quick sort of brief about me and the team I look after. I've worked for the council for about 18 months now. Our team looks after strategic equality, so we work to help the council set longer term equality objectives. We deliver the Welsh Government's community cohesion programme. So we heard from the Deputy Minister earlier, and she leads on that work. So our team is very engaged with her team around what good cohesion looks like in communities, and we work to deliver that plan. We look after migration, strategic migration. So Newport is a dispersal area, as you'll all be aware of. So a lot of our time is spent making sure that asylum seekers, refugees and migrants are appropriately supported across the city. We run our own refugee resettlement scheme as well, and we also look after Welsh language. So we've got quite a big remit as a team, and I think it's fair to say the last 18 months really since I started have been really challenging. for our Black, Asian and minority ethnic communities. We're still experiencing the fallout of the referendum result. So as I mentioned earlier, some of the challenges for our EU communities, and we're working really hard with our communities and our third sector partners to pick up those issues and make sure people continue to feel welcomed here in Wales. Obviously, we've had COVID and we continue to be in the throes of a global pandemic, and we recognise the devastating impact that that's had on communities in Newport. We've seen an increase in hate speech. Online hate speech has gone through the roof at various points over the last few months in response to things like the Black Lives Matter movement, in response to the coronavirus pandemic, in response to Brexit. So we know, as well as all the positive work that's going on in the city, we have more work to do to address those negative attitudes and that discourse. One thing that's been really clear to me is that we wouldn't have been able to deliver any of the work that we have done over the last few months, and Newport is being held up as a good example in terms of our response to supporting minority communities throughout the crisis. We wouldn't have been able to deliver that without the support of all of the community groups that are attending today. So personally from me, a massive thank you for the levels of engagement we've had, the levels of support. I've been privileged enough to be part of the WhatsApp group, which is where the hub has existed for the last few months. And as Hadassah has said, you know, there are conversations going on at midnight, early hours in the morning, people looking for food parcels to be delivered, people looking for housing support, you know, people sharing details about funerals, personal losses, condolences. So it's become much more than a movement to find a building and get a hub. It's become a family, really. So I've felt really privileged to be part of that over the last few months. So a thank you to everybody that's been engaged. And
Thank you so much, Heather. Thank you.
Sorry, you did need to cut me off then. I thought I'd reined it in. But yeah, just a thank you from me, and we really hope that you feel more included in the council's work as well.
Thank you so much, Heather. No, not cutting you off at all, my sister. We could never do that. You are such a wonderful part of our community, and thank you for all you do. And now it's my pleasure to be able to hand back over to our eloquent, sophisticated Professor Uzo Iwobi, who has been part of this and who has helped us to get this off the ground. Uzo, we owe you a debt of gratitude, and we love you so much and for all that you do. So over to you, Uzo, now to invite our special guest.
Thank you so much. I mean, everybody who's been here will acknowledge that Pastor Hadassah has been an absolutely one-in-a-lifetime MC host. I think you've got a job for life, Hadassah. You were brilliant and gently bringing people on and off and being so warm and welcoming. The grassroots groups who planned the virtual launch really wanted grassroots communities to be heard first before the guest speakers, which is a flip side, a flip around of how things usually are done, because often the guest speakers disappear before the grassroots then finish their speaking. So a big thank you to all our invited guests who have been so patient in waiting to speak. It gives us great pleasure now to warmly welcome the member of Senate, two members of Senate, Jane Bryant and John Griffiths, who are absolutely outstanding support for the community, to give their welcoming address to the Hub members. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Uzo. It's been absolutely wonderful to be here today, and I'd just like to put on record my thanks to Pastor Hadassah, because you would not be out of you'd be right in the mix in the Senedd to keep everybody in order. I think the Llywydd in the Senedd would do well to listen to you, Pastor Hadassah. So thank you so much. And I wish you could all hear the claps that everybody's been giving each other, because it has been so wonderful to see and to hear all the fantastic work that's going on within Newport. There's so many of you here that I know well personally, and some new faces, but there are many of you who inspire me, not just personally, but I know inspires so many others. And I'd like to put on thanks, as so many others have, to the wonderful Vanessa, because, you know, if Vanessa had a personal impact on me over many years ago and still does. And, you know, as I think it was Marilyn who said that, you know, we stand on shoulders of giants like Vanessa, and I certainly know that I stand on Vanessa's shoulders and so many of you here. So thank you so much. And, you know, as Vanessa has done, and so many of you, it's not right that there's just one person, you know, it's all of us. We all need to pull to drag people up with us, you know, and never pull that ladder up. And I know none of you do. So that's something that's really important to me. And I think hearing about all the things that are going on is great, but I know there's so much more to do. But I know this virtual room is full of people who actually want to do things and will get things done. And that's really, really important, because as everybody said, Newport's one voice and one city, and we're best when we all work together and we learn from each other. So, you know, I'm lucky to work with Councillor Jane Mudd and obviously my great friend John Griffiths as well, and we'll do everything we can together to support you, and we stand on your shoulders. Thank you.
Absolutely wonderful and on time. Thank you so much, member representing us, every community here at the Senedd. And we wish you all the very best in your work. And we hope that when we do get our building, you can come and walk around and meet all the diverse communities with the full membership, because all we could do was include the leaders and then stream to the membership across Wales. Thank you. And right away, warmly welcome our member of the Senedd, John Griffiths, who is also the chair of the cross-party group on race equality and really champions fairness and justice. Thank you, John.
Diolch yn fawr, Uzo. It's great to follow Jane because we work so closely together in the Assembly. And of course, Jane represents Peel, and I was brought up in Peel, so I know firsthand, you know, the richness that comes from that mix of different cultures, you know, the food, the clothing, the music, the culture generally, just what a rich experience it is. And it's great that Newport is so multicultural, and we've had really good examples of that today with so many groups doing so many good things. You know, I really like sitting in a cafe in Newport city centre and hearing different languages and seeing that variety and that diversity. And, you know, that's what we should get across, isn't it? The positive contribution that all these cultures and all these backgrounds make to our city, and how if we draw on that more effectively, life will be of better quality for everyone in our city. You know, it was fascinating to hear of all the good work going on by so many groups, and a real eye-opener for me. You know, I know many of the people on this launch today, thankfully, but there are some that I do not know, and there is some work going on that I wasn't aware of. So, you know, it's been a great experience. As chair of the all-party group in the Senedd, I hope very much that that race equality action plan that Welsh Government is so committed to now with the good work of Jane Hutt will mean something locally, particularly in the more diverse areas in Wales. So that I hope, as Jane said, Jane Bryant, that working together, Jane and I, and of course Jane Mudd with the City Council, Jane Hutt at the Welsh Government level, but most important, all of you, we can make those wider Wales strategies meaningful on the ground here in Newport. I think we've got a real opportunity to do this now, because we've learned through COVID what the impact of that has been in our more diverse communities in Newport, and it's opened up some of these vulnerabilities. It's made it clearer, the socio-economic and health vulnerabilities that some of our communities have. So, you know, there are lots of issues to tackle, but we've got really good work having been done by Professor Ogbonna's group and the subgroups within it. So we've got a real basis to move forward now, and I hope very much that we can make that effective locally, all of us working together. Diolch yn fawr.
Oh, thank you so much, John. Really fabulous work that you're doing. Keep on spearheading equality and diversity, not just in Newport, but right across the whole of the Senate. Thank you. So, can I please appeal to Superintendent Mike Richards? We will give Claire Roddell from the SME BITC that's the business in the community, just literally 1.5 minutes to say something because she has to go to another meeting. And I will be handing over to Patience Bentu from Race Council Cymru to run through. But just before I do, can I invite Claire to just say a very few words, and then we'll go back on to Mike. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Zoe, and just congratulations. It's been a great event, really uplifting, really good to hear from you all. I'm Claire Roddell. I'm from Business in the Community. And I know, you know, at the heart of all this is one community in Newport. So I'm really pleased to let you know we're focusing at the moment on community as a place. Business in the Community has a large network of very large businesses, but at this time, as a result of the pandemic, they know that the smaller businesses, the small to medium-sized businesses are struggling. We know in particular as well, it is those business owners from the Black, Asian, minority ethnic groups that are particularly finding it challenging. So you've got the connections in Newport. We are trying to reach out to as many of those business owners to say there is free support. There's no catch. It's because our bigger companies that work with us actually do want to support the local supply chains. So I've got information to send. I'll put my email address in the chat because I know you need to move on. If you need to know more or would like to share anything, I can send you details. But yeah, if you know any business owners that you think might benefit at the moment, that might be struggling to survive, we're here to help. But thank you for your time. It's been great this morning.
Thank you so much, Claire. And we warmly welcome BITC working with hub members, so share your contact details. Please warmly welcome our fantastic Police and Crime Commissioner, who from the very beginning, when we told him about the hub, was very, very excited to be here. Jeff Cuthbert has championed equality as the former Minister for Equality, now heading up Police and Crime Commissioner's work in Gwent. Over to you, Jeff.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Uzo, and what a build-up. I do hope I'm able to complete what I have to say, because I've suffered from signal problems throughout the whole of this event, and I've only just managed to get back on now, so fingers crossed. But look, it's been a great event. I have heard most of it, and I think it really proves the point that we're all stronger together. And certainly my view of policing and public services in Gwent and indeed across Wales is very much about how, by working together, we can produce the best environment and the best public services for all our peoples. The issue of community cohesion is a very, very important part of my policing and crime plan. And it's something that I know that Gwent Police is determined to do its very best as far as servicing the needs of all our communities is concerned. The Chief Constable announced webinars.
I think we've lost the Police and Crime Commissioner. I am so sorry, but at least we heard a little bit about him, and I know he will send us further information. Can we now warmly welcome the leader of the Newport Council, the one, the wonderful, amazing, really kind and generous Jane Mudd, who, as soon as she started, invited all the grassroots people to send representatives to meet with her one-to-one. She is an absolutely dynamic leader, and we know she is the right person to ensure this hub is housed. We think the world of you, and we hope to celebrate you when this hub has a physical building. But right now, today, to officially say the words, the hub, Multicultural Hub in Newport is launched. Warmly welcome, Jane Bryan. Let's give her a clap even before she starts. Yay. Thank you, Councillor.
Uzo, what can I say? Thank you so much for your very kind words. I'd just like to say what a privilege it is to join you today, and I've listened to everybody's contributions, and it makes me so proud of Newport and so proud of everybody and how people work together. It's just, it really is quite humbling to listen to everybody and the work that people are doing. And I know that a lot of this is about people giving their own time, volunteering to support their communities. And we really couldn't do what we do without you. So thank you so much, everybody, for this. I'd especially like to thank you, Uzo, Patience, Pastor Hadassah, Vanessa, Reggie, Edward Watts, Heather. The list of people, honestly, is endless. And what that really shows us is what we can do, again, collectively. This is very much about working together. It's been a real privilege to listen to the community groups and listen to the work that you do. I know we all know about the impact that the pandemic has had and the tremendous efforts that everybody has made during these difficult times to support their communities. And part of our recovery as a city council as we move forward is to really focus on the communities that need this support now as we continue to try and implement the recovery. But there is one point, I'm trying to be brief, and there is one point that I'd really like to make. I'd like to thank everybody that's come to me and to join me in discussion and really help me to find a way forward. It's been a tremendous learning experience for me and a real privilege for me to learn from you. But as Reggie said on this call, what matters are the actions that come from this. They're the actions that come from these discussions. And that is so important. Now, we've made a number of changes. We put some actions in place as a city council internally, but we're also implementing a number of changes that will change service delivery. And we'll continue to do this and continue to work with you going forward. And we will find a home for the hub, I'm sure, as we do this. So once again, thank you everyone for inviting me today. And thank you so much for everything that you do to support communities.
Thank you so much. I think that we need to cheer this leader. She's absolutely brilliant. And we have all felt very listened to when we've sat around your table, no matter how tough those points have been raised, whether it's about PIL and the lack of resources. You've heard us, you've done absolutely all you can to make sure that you do what you must to make Newport a fair and equitable society. I think the Police and Crime Commissioner is back. Did you want to finish your 1 minute remarks, Jeff? Police and Crime Commissioner Jeff.
Yes, I'll try and do that very quickly indeed. Thank you. But it's been a very poor signal throughout the whole of this, but not to worry. I too want to see how this goes on in terms of its outcomes, and I really want to be part of its work. And I look forward to that very much. Unfortunately, as has been alluded to, there are a number of people out there and groups who want to create division and separation between people and to build mistrust. We must take an opposite point of view and look to celebrate what makes us different, but also recognize that we're stronger together. And if we all share our knowledge, our views, our goodwill, then we'll be stronger. And I look forward to working with you all very much.
Thank you so much, Police and Crime Commissioner and leader and members of the Senate. You've always all been so supportive towards us as diverse communities, and we hope that will strengthen and grow. So now we warmly welcome Superintendent Mike Richards on behalf of Pam Kelly, the Chief Constable of Gwent Police.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mike Richards. I'm the superintendent here in Newport. I'm absolutely delighted to be part of this launch today and listen to so many fantastic and inspiring presentations throughout the day. People like me and many other leaders talk a lot about equality plans and strategies and policies. And it is absolutely right that we have effective plans and strategies, but they are of little value, folks, if that's all they are just words on a page in a glossy brochure. It is for leaders like me and you to make sure those strategies and plans are delivered on the ground and that they make a difference. And we as leaders have to set the tone, and we have to set the standard for our organizations. As leaders, we have to be positive role models for our staff and indeed our communities. And we have to demonstrate our commitment to positive change through our words and our action. And we just heard Reggie talk about investing in these groups. And that is what I want our police officers in Newport to do. I want to establish a better understanding of the barriers and the challenges for people in Newport in accessing our services and participating in local policing. I want to make sure our neighbourhood policing teams are engaged with these organisations. And until earlier this year, I had the volunteers portfolio in Gwent, which involved young police cadets aged between 14 and 18. We have active cadet units in Newport, and I would like to explore with these groups here today opportunities for minority group cadet units across Newport. My new portfolio, and it is important, so please be with me, is stop and search and the use of force. And only this weekend, the Argus ran a story about disproportionality in stop and search across Gwent. I want to ensure that Gwent Police fully understand its disproportionality, and I want to work with these groups to be involved in our monitoring and scrutiny of our stop search. So three things really, three asks of the groups that are represented here today. One, for an opportunity for me and my senior management team to engage with you formally on a quarterly basis. The second, to gain support around developing our police cadet programs for young people from minority groups. And finally, support from the groups here in monitoring and scrutinising our stop search powers. So my email address is in the sidebar from earlier on. I look forward to working with you all in the coming weeks and months. Fantastic work, everybody. Absolutely inspiring. Well done, and thank you all.
Diolch yn fawr. Diolch yn fawr, Mike Richards, Superintendent. We look forward to coming to engage with you, all the diverse groups, and I think it'd be great if the police actually invested in a community engagement fund or grant that enabled hub leaders and all the diverse ethnic groups to be funded to do some engagement work with you. I think it would be really great. What we're really pushing hard for, and Kay Denyer, the director of Race Council, would tell you that we're pushing local authorities and police and the crime commissioner and all funders to stop asking us to keep doing things for free when they are real key to services. So we're looking forward to working collaboratively in a very positive manner with all the grassroots and the police service within Gwent. We think the world of you guys, and we liked how you supported the Black Lives Matter earlier on, and we hope that you will invest in this hub and maybe fund the grassroots community leaders to tell you about their challenges with engaging with the police, because that has to go to them to enable resources to happen. So right now, we want to invite our big brother. Everybody knows him. When you talk about leaders who have made this hub happen, every one of us has to say Vanessa Cyril, OBE. She has been the mother, the auntie, the grandma, the great-grandma in some cases. We are championing her name, but we also want to state the work that has been done in setting up communities for years before we even had the hub, and that's chaired by Mr. Edward Watts, MBE, a man who is known for his fantastic work in championing diverse communities and selflessly giving his time free and a voluntary capacity, same as Mama Vanessa has done all these years in the Seafarers Club, and making sure that the Caribbean Heritage Cymru and others have somewhere and having events. I don't think any story of Newport can be told without mentioning Vanessa and Edward Watts. So now we welcome you. Thank you for diving into this meeting. We'd have cried if you didn't. Mr. Edward Watts, everybody.
Well, thank you very much for that. I have spent most of my life, both as a youngster and as an adult, fighting for equality throughout Newport and Wales. I am glad to see now, at my age, the leaders that are coming forward, and you've had many of on there today talking, and they are the future, who will take on the mantle of taking us forward. As we move through this pandemic, which has affected all of us, I think we've all learned that immaterial of colour, creed, religion, this pandemic affects us all. And we all have to work together to try and combat it. And I think that also applies to us as leaders of all communities to work together to make life better for the people we serve. It's been my great honour, and I say this hand on heart, to have served this community until I take my last breath. I will fight for and serve this community. So thank you very much for the nice things you said, Uzo. Thank you to all of you for what you do. Just remember this, you will always only be the start. There are people, but you must make sure that people come behind you. So thank you, all of you, for everything you do. Thank you, Uzo.
Thank you so much. I think there is so much more that we can expect in terms of support and leadership in supporting this hub to grow. And I know Mr. Edward Watts is one of a very, very, very strong support for diverse ethnic communities. We thank you for your work and we celebrate you. We celebrate all the giants on this platform today. And we want to give you flowers whilst you're alive. And that's why we sing praises. It's an African tradition that you sing for the elders who have led and done well. And that's why we celebrate you and Mama Vanessa and so many others, our brother Omar Ali, Reggie, and our sister Ingrid, who you're yet to hear. She's another one that we want to place flowers around her work today. Ingrid Wilson, you will hear from her closing off the community contribution for the hub today later. So right now we want to welcome our sister Alicja Zalesinska. She is a champion for good in this world. And you're talking about Eastern Europeans making a difference. Look no further than Alicja Zalesinska, who's the chief executive of TIPALB. And she leads on housing and housing provision. I've been telling my sister Zushka that if she wants to look for champions in the Eastern European communities, Alicja is the lady for you. So she's going to say a few words to encourage the hub, but also talk a bit about what she does in 2 minutes, literally. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Uzo, and thanks so much for having me here today. What a fantastic event. I think it's so important now that, you know, there are many kind of negative voices out there trying to, you know, drive division in our communities, and it's so important to bring this unity and kind of remember that we've got much more in common really than what divides us. As for champions, I think Zuzka is much more of a champion for the Polish community than me. I really applaud her for her work, giving up her time to support communities and to kind of raise awareness of Polish culture and work with local public services as well. She is a fantastic champion for the community. A little bit about TAIPAUB, I won't take you long. So TAIPAUB means Housing for All. We're a charity that promotes equality in housing. We're a membership charity, so all housing associations in Wales, across Wales, are members of TAIPAUB, and councils as well. Newport Council is one of the members. We help the organizations which are our member organizations to kind of promote good policy and good equality practice, and race is one of the issues that we deal with. And we also work with Welsh Government to make policies and legislation and practices better for various people, but BAME people, is one of those groups. At the moment, for example, we're trying to influence the government to introduce housing as a human right in Wales, and I'm sure many of you would have supported communities with many different housing issues. We've also launched an initiative called Deeds Not Words. So enough with words and rhetoric for now, and this is a challenge to the housing sector to work together to make race equality real. It deals with issues such as overcrowding, better housing condition, better access to services, and more housing for refugees as well. We've been supporting groups across Wales as well to link them up with social housing providers, housing associations and councils to basically increase the provision of temporary housing for those refugees who have to leave home office accommodation. So lots of different examples of work. I mean, this hub is hugely important. We do all sorts of research and deal with a lot of stats in our work, but the lived experience and the issues that you have to deal with and that you support people with is hugely important to inform our work. So we're really looking forward to engaging with you going forward, and congratulations on bringing so many communities together. Like many of you said, definitely strengthen community, and I'll put some information about TAIPAUB later in the chat. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Alicia, for that introduction of TAIPAUB. Very interestingly, we've got two more housing associations here with us, and very quickly, I would like to invite Andrew Vai to speak on behalf of Pobl. Andrew, over to you.
Thanks, Patience. Yeah, and thanks to everyone today. It's been brilliant to be part of this event. Some really powerful, brilliant group of people, and it's great to be here. Just a little bit about Pobl. I know time's getting away from us, so I'll be as quick as I can. Pobl is a big housing association across Wales, and we've got a lot of interest in Newport. So we've got 3,500 homes in Newport. Lots of those are in Pill, and we've also got homelessness services and commercial space, community centre. So we've got a lot of interest in the area. And like other landlords operating in Newport, we're totally committed to understanding our communities better. We don't always get this right, particularly our more diverse communities. I think through the pandemic and the lockdown, we've taken big steps forward. We understand communities better, I think, but there is so much more to do, so much further to go. And I think more than anything, we've learned how resilient our communities are, and our job is to walk alongside communities and not think that we've got the answers. And we've been working with some of the people on the call and Pill Unity in particular to support them to deliver their ambitions. So just in summary, really, Pobl is totally committed to Newport, and we are particularly committed to Pill, and we've been working with Jane and some of her officers in Newport recently to think about how we might develop a long-term plan for the area, which builds on the strengths in the community. So I think the key messages for me really is that we want to work and walk alongside the community to understand communities better. So that'll be about tapping into the community leaders, some of you on the call, opening up employment opportunities within Pobl. We're not a very diverse organisation. We know we need to get better at that, particularly in some of our senior roles. improve awareness and access to our homes. It's an overly complex system sometimes to get into social housing. We need to get better at that. Building homes that people need, particularly in that sort of multi-generational space, and then getting better at walking alongside community groups and building on the strengths in communities. So something that we talked about in meetings with the council is we talk a lot about problems and issues in communities, and actually we need to spend a lot more time talking about the strengths in communities and build on that. So I think I heard that a lot through the call today, and it's been really inspiring, and that's what we'd like to do much more of at Pobl. But thanks for inviting me along to the event today. It's been brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andrew Vai, and for that, very honest admission about the lack of diversity in Pobl, and for letting us know that, to expect that this will definitely change. There's nothing like an honest commitment, and we thank you very much for that. Before we go on, I would like to apologize on behalf of all the groups here and Race Council as well, that I do realize we have gone over the closing time, but I would like to crave your indulgence only for a few more minutes. We're wrapping up after 3 speakers, and I do apologize that we've taken all this time, but I'm sure you'll agree with me, it's been worth your while. So I promise you, we will wrap up before 1:30. And very quickly, I would like to invite from another housing association, Mellon Homes Housing Association, Donna Herity. Over to you, Donna.
Thank you for your patience. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Donna.
Right, and I won't take long. My name is Donna Herity. I work for Mellon Homes. I'm new to working for Mellon Homes, so obviously this is the first time for me. Many thanks for the invite to the hub. It's been absolutely brilliant. There's been wonderful speakers, fantastic stories, and I've really learned a lot. We're very passionate here in Mellon Homes. We've got an equality and diversity group. We've signed up to the Black Lives Matter, and also we've signed up to the Deeds Not Words pledge, which has been set up by Tai Pau. Short and sweet of it, we're here to offer our help and support, and to be able to get more involved within the communities to help make a difference and make positive changes. I've put my email in the chat there. We want to learn from this experience and work with yourself to understand how the communities work. We are totally committed. Like Pobl also, we need to open up on our employment opportunities there, and there's quite a lot of things we've got to offer people. Our clear message from Mellon is that we are here to support and to promote an inclusive culture where we can work together, where every voice is welcome, heard and respected. So thank you, please get in touch. Anything we can do, we'd like to work together with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Donna. Thanks again. Another wonderful speaker, straight to the point, keeping to the time. Thank you very much for all your patience and for being here with us today. I would like to invite next from the Princess Trust. We have Nero Okujabo, who is here. Nero, are you still here? Over to you.
I am. Thank you very much. It's great to join. I'm very new to the Princess Trust, and I'm working at the national level, but we'll be supporting the regional trust in Wales to make sure that we're able to reach all the young people who need services that we provide. So really looking forward to working with you guys. I've had an introductory conversation with Uzo, and I hope to have more conversation as time goes by. With all the groups that I've been presenting today, very, very fantastic, and hopefully we will be looking forward to building relationships and working very closely with everyone. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nero, for that introduction, and I'm sure every member of the group looks forward to some very good, and mutually beneficial future work with your organization, the Princess Trust. And just to sort of start bringing things to a wrap up, we always leave what we consider the best for the last. One of our favorite ladies, Ingrid Wilson, Chair of the Trustees Community House, Eaton Road, Newport. Ingrid, over to you. If you unmute yourself. Sharing. There we are. Great. I think you might need to unmute yourself if you're muted, Ingrid. I'm not sure we can hear you. No, I'm afraid we can't hear you, Ingrid. Perhaps what you might want to do is stop sharing your screen for a second.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Oh, there, yeah, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Can you hear
We
me
can
now?
hear you now, yes.
Right, now my screen sharing is resume share. Right, okay, yes, we are there now. My apologies for that. I love technology. Yes, thank you. Community House has, for those of you who don't know, it's in Maindy. This is our strapline, building strong and caring community together. I've got a whole lot of photos, but I'm going to try and make you see them so quickly, it'll be like a film. This was a montage we put together for our 50th anniversary. These are the group leaders who get together. Each group has a slot of maybe 1 or 2 hours a week to use the building, but at the moment, the only group that's been able to use the building is our youth project, which has support from Children in Need and the Crime Commissioner Fund and various other funders now at different times. And we're looking forward to welcoming East to have an office in our building, which is like a TARDIS. We just have 2 small halls and a teaching room upstairs. There's the teaching room upstairs with the ESOL. We have different groups. The building actually belongs to the Presbyterian Church of Wales, but we welcome people of all faiths and none in our building. We actually, as you can see, we have 5 different churches who use Community House at different times from across the world. We have Sufis who are linked with us, but sadly none of these groups can meet at the moment. We celebrate festivals. We have links with the local primary school and the Elders Tuesday Lunch Club, which we also call TLC, Tender Loving Care. A multicultural, multi-faith women's group do all sorts of wonderful things together. And we have the men's friendship group as well. And when the mosque couldn't have the children in the building, then we welcome them at their classes into our building for a while. We also encourage various events with community groups and organizations, Saturdays, parties. We were the where Maindy Festival was founded. And if you have not encountered Maindy Festival, next July, on July the 3rd, first Saturday of July, is Maindy Multicultural Arts Festival, which we're planning for COVID to still be here, but we're hoping that it won't. And ultimately, hospitality is the heart of all we do, bringing together people of all races, faiths, beliefs, bringing and building strong and caring community together in our 2 small halls and tiny teaching room. Thank you for letting us be part of this. It's been so wonderful to be with you all today and to foster this sense of community, which we are all part of, and which my family was so thrilled when they were welcomed here as refugees over 100 years ago. My mother didn't speak English till she went to school, and so you can't necessarily see the heritage in people's faces, but it's there in all our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ingrid, for wrapping this all up in an incredible way. And my, they say time does fly when you're having fun. On such a wonderful day, I cannot believe that a couple of hours have gone by as we have celebrated Newport, one voice, one city, celebrating our diversity and standing stronger together. And I would like to say thank you so much, especially for your patience through these couple of hours that we've been in this wonderful event. I would like to say a big thank you to Professor Uzo Iwobi, who has always held our communities together, not just in Newport, but across RCC's 5 hubs in Wales. A big thank you to her, and also our gratitude to our wonderful Deputy Minister and Chief Whip, Jane Hutt, MS, who is always there for all our communities. Thank you to Mama Vanessa Cyril, on whose shoulders we are still standing, on whose shoulders we will always stand. Thank you for all the work that you've done for us. Thank you for being here today, as always, supporting us and holding us all together. I would like to say a special thank you to Councillor Jane Mudd, who has been such a gem in supporting our communities in Newport. Jane has continued to hold constant meetings with our community groups. She's always there. We've already had the link for the next meeting. Thank you for all you are doing in Newport. And I would also especially like to thank all the groups, our partners, RCC partners in the Newport Multicultural Hub, who have been here, who you have listened to today, who have told you who they are and what they do and what their challenges are in Newport. So special thank you to the Newport Yemeni Community Association under Brother Reggie, the New Dimensions Faith Fellowship, the Newport Sudanese Community Association, the Newport Senegambia Association, the Zimbabwe Newport Volunteering Association, the Main D Cricket Club, Bengal Warriors, Carers Cube under Shabir Hussain, the South Wales Jamaican Society, Age Alive, Newport BME Badminton, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Association, the Alice Foundation, Light for Life. We wish them well with the sickness that's going on there at this moment. The Faith in God Ministry Wales, the Matsimai Pamway under Angeline, Kieran, Tomasri, and all the wonderful work you're doing, Caribbean Heritage Cymru, Marilyn, Brian Jones, our sister, Ludek PCG, Zhushka, well done, Roots, East, always there, always supporting our communities across Wales as well. The Newport Somali Association with Brother Omar, and big thank you for our special guest who's joined in all the way from the West Midlands, Mr. Barnes, with Why Are West Indians Here? We say a big thank you for staying all the way, for your patience and for your brilliant presentation. Thank you to Anirban Mukhopadhyay. I'm sorry if I haven't pronounced that correctly, for speaking on behalf of the Asian communities. Sean Wharton, you're always a delight any day. Big thank you for the work you're doing in the community. Black History Education and Curriculum, who better to present that topic other than our big auntie Hadassah Radway. Always a delight, always a pleasure listening to her. And for summing up the entire presentations by the groups today, and for teasing out and bringing out the very essence of the theme of this event, we say a very big thank you to Brother Reggie Al-Hadi. Thank you very much for what you've done. Our precious jewel, Heather Powell. We can never thank you enough, Heather. 24/7, or should I say 25/8, with all the extra hours that you put in. Thank you, Heather, for always being there. And to all our special guests who patiently listened and waited till the end, you know, to respond to all the communities that have shown up today, we say a big thank you. Both members of Senedd for Newport East and Newport West, Jane Bryant and John Griffiths, thank you very much. Our Police and Crime Commissioner,
You've stayed on in spite of the challenges that you've had with your internet today. Jeff Cuthbert, we say a big thank you to you. To Pam Kelly, who was represented by Superintendent Mike Richards, thank you very much. And please convey our gratitude back to Pam Kelly. We look forward to meeting her in the near future. Another great big shoulder that we're still standing on, Edward Watts, MBE. We say a big thank you to the chairman of Gavel for all the work that you've done over the years and all that you are still doing within that community. Thank you to the housing associations who have shown up here and who have shared their work with us, Alicia Zelesinski, Andrew Vai, and Donna Herity. Thank you very much. Nero, it was lovely meeting you. We're very delighted that you could join us today from Princess Trust. Nero Okujabo, thank you very much. And to our wonderful, wonderful angel, Ingrid Wilson, the Chair of Trustees, Community House, Eaton Road, we say thank you. Claire Rudolph had to leave earlier on, but we thank her for her presentation on the SME support program in Newport. We also want to thank Yvonne, who was here. Thank you for your presentation on autism and all the work you're doing in the community. And last but not the least, before we go, I would like to say a very, very special thank you to two people who have worked behind the scenes, who I call the wind beneath the wings of this event to make it a success. The director of Race Council Cymru, Kay Denia, and also to Taiwo Okeneye of Vivid Block, our IT person. Thank you for all the work you've done behind the scenes to make this event a great success. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you all, and we'll see you hopefully again very soon. Thank you and God bless. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Patience. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvester.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks to everyone.
Thank
you very much.
Wonderful time. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And thanks to Stephen as well.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
Bye, Vanessa.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
patience. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks, Patience.
Vanessa, it was nice seeing you.
Well, it's nice seeing you
Bye,
again.
everyone.
Yeah.
See you again.
And Dawn.
Yeah, and you. Thanks a lot for all these kind words. Thanks.
Thanks, Mr. Vanessa.
Thanks. Thank you.
You all right, Vanessa?
Yeah, thanks for the kind. You better make me cry.
It's good to see you.
Cry.
It's good to see you.
Well, it's so nice seeing you because you can't see anybody now.
I know.
You
still
make
got-
me cry.
You still got them pictures of me up in your house?
Yeah. Your father. I see your father standing in front of me, sitting in front of me. You.
That's nice. Thanks, Vanessa.
Yeah. So
Thank you,
nice.
Patience. It was good.
Yeah.
Very good. Good
Yeah,
job.
It was. Yeah. And you doing good. There you are. Take the mantle now and run with it.
I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
Take it
Run
forward.
with it. Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, so
Good
nice
to
seeing
see you.
everybody. Yeah.
Yes. Take care, Patience. Bye, everybody.
And you,
Take
Sean.
Bye.
Thank you, Auntie Vanessa. Thank you
Oh,
ever so
thanks.
much.
Yeah, thanks. I didn't
You're
have
such
much
a
doing.
You're such a
I didn't have
role
much
model.
doing.
Oh
They
my
all made
God.
me want to cry. You know,
it's
Marilyn made
very
me want, Sean made me want to cry. Oman made me want to cry.
Thank you so much for
I don't
coming.
know. Yeah, thanks a lot for you doing all this work as well. Yeah.
We're riding on your shoulders.
Oh, I don't know for that. As Marilyn say, I don't big up myself at all. I just stay in the little quiet lane, you know. But there we are. Thanks a lot.
Thanks ever so much.
Yeah, for bigging me up. You've done wonderful. You see, also have a lot of competition.
I don't know about that.
Who's got a lot of competition? I'm telling you. Yeah, done wonderful. Patience.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's so nice. Yeah, seeing you again in person.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll meet again soon.
Well, I don't know if all this thing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but